Go, 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 let's get it. I'm a trapping fanatic, that shit automatic, so I cannot turn it on or off. Bitches all on my dick, then she hop on my dick, I'm like, why you keep hopping on and off? Your bitch all on my dick, she be doing the most. I tell her, little bitch, she so extra. And my gun up on me, but not run up on me. Niggas, they wanna fight, they some restless.
Minato was banished from the Soul Society alongside his elder brother, Kisuke Urahara. However, when going to the human world, something happened to Minato's, during his transport. He was dropped from the sky into a mysterious village now as a younger version of himself. This is where the story of Minato Namikaze would truly continue, as he had lost most of his Shinigami and Soul Reaper powers, but he still had his Zanpakuto. Eventually, he would meet the same fate as his canon counterpart, leading to his death. When the third Hokage finds him, he makes sure to leave a very detailed and important message, and at the end of it he would say, "Give this blade to my son Naruto. Please, take care of him, and make sure that he never loses it." Minato would pass away while telling his brother that he leaves it in the hands of his son now. Naruto grows up differently here. Sure, he has access to chakra, but he also has two different powers within himself. The third Hokage also takes much better care of Naruto due to Minato's words of urgency. The third Hokage, he would have someone train Naruto in sword combat. Naruto does this until the age of 9, but he would also notice something. Oftentimes during his spar matches, the blade that he's had ever since he was a child, made strange noises that only he could hear. Naruto knew the blade was very odd, but he could never make out what was being said to him. And so from the ages of 9 to 12, Naruto is also taught chakra and how to use it. It takes him a whole year to overcome the barrier that is the Nine Tails in order to perform Jutsu. However, that wasn't the only thing holding Naruto back. His Shinigami potential only grew from within his body. Naruto was one of the strongest kids in the academy, as now we see a 12-year-old Naruto sitting on top of a building while holding his blade to the sky. It's strange. Me and you talk all the time, but I can never understand you, the way you want me to, that is. And I can always sense everything around me. Lord Third, Aruka, the ramen guy, all the people in the Leaf Village. I can feel their power. But why can I do this? Naruto says while standing up. Is this why the village hates me? Was I truly born different? Naruto thinks about this before vanishing off of the rooftop and heading to school. He sneaks in through the window before Aruka takes attendance, and he takes the exams to become a shinobi. He just barely fails due to not being able to perform the clone jutsu. Mizuki tells Naruto to then meet him at night for a second chance, and of course he would go. Naruto is still a child after all. It wouldn't be hard for Mizuki to convince him to steal the Scroll of Sealing, meaning Naruto learns a multi-shadow clone jutsu here as well. Mizuki arrives on the scene and demands the scroll from Naruto. After seeing hesitation in the boy's eyes, he would attack him. Naruto jumps and dodges, and he then flips onto a tree branch. Why do you want this scroll so bad? Naruto, you fool. Can't you see that I've used you? Now, once I take that scroll, it'll be used to attack the Leaf Village. Just give me that damn scroll, you demon fox. Naruto, hearing that name, explodes in rage. His Shinigami powers truly begin to flourish in this moment. Mizuki would notice that it's harder for him to stand, as he would then fall to one knee. The pressure in the surrounding area was increasing, and as Naruto walked closer to him, he felt true fear. With each step, Naruto started to understand his blade more, as it would say, grow stronger. The yellow-haired boy swings the blade and exerts some of his spiritual energy into a powerful attack that would kill Mizuki. Iruka-sensei, who watched from a distance while being forced to the ground, well, was astonished by Naruto's powers. After the light around Naruto's body would fade away, so did that very same pressure, as once again, his blade went into silence. Iruka walks up and tells Naruto that he saw everything, commending him for his actions, as he would then hand him a leaf headband. Naruto thanks his sensei for everything that he's done while he puts on the headband. The next day, Naruto goes to school and is assigned to Team 7 alongside Sakura Haruno and Sasuke Uchiha. The three of them wait in the classroom for their sensei, and Naruto tries to speak with his blade, telepathically of course, but it doesn't work. What makes right now different from the last time you talked to me? Naruto thinks back to the moment when he was battling against Mizuki, as he then realizes it. From the other side of the classroom, Sasuke was noticing the shocked expression of Naruto, which also caused Sakura to notice this as well. Naruto then closed his eyes and tried to sense the power from within himself. He can almost feel it. Now, after a while, he could see it. But as he was going to access them, Kakashi walked into the room. This breaks Naruto's focus as he loses sight of his Shinigami powers. Their sensei then tells him to meet on the rooftop of this building. Once they are up there, he formally introduces himself as Kakashi Hatake, their sensei. He would ask them questions about themselves so that they could get to know each other. Naruto here didn't have the goal to become the Hokage. Naruto wanted to know who he truly was, so that was his answer. Kakashi tells them where to meet up the next day and tells them to bring a lunch and to not eat breakfast. Team 7 meets up the next day, and Naruto is more focused than ever to draw out his Shinigami abilities, but he doesn't know what that's called, of course. Kakashi arrives and explains the bell test to them. Immediately, Naruto rushes in and tries to catch him off guard. Kakashi is able to block each of his attacks and even counter, pushing him off. Naruto flips away, sensing chakra coming, as he then sees a fireball heading towards Kakashi. This forces him to drop his book only for a moment to perform a jutsu that would stop this attack. Before he could recover, Naruto swings his katana, and Kakashi tries to catch it, but it still cuts him. He then flips away in confusion. He was sure that he grabbed the blade, but it still cut him somehow. Naruto was confused as well. Maybe only people who are like me can block this blade's power. Well, if that's the case, Naruto says while looking down at the blade, will you guide me? The blade starts to glow along with Naruto's spiritual energy that becomes present in this moment, and it continues to rise. Naruto grips the blade while looking at Kakashi from a distance. He takes one step and instantly appears in front of him, swinging the blade. Kakashi dodges while noticing how fast Naruto has become in just a short moment. But as he dodges, Sasuke throws a punch towards him that lands. To the shock of both of them, their sensei then turns into a log. Sasuke wonders where he went, but Naruto closes his eyes as he would then focus on Kakashi's presence as he could still sense it. He opens his eyes and swings the blade at the ground, and it splits. This causes Kakashi to jump out to avoid the attack. Naruto is stronger than I originally thought. His speed is that of a high Chunin, and Sasuke on their hand is a great tactician. He waits for the right moment, and he attacks each time without fail. However, Sakura, wherever she is, seems to be far behind these two, and is holding them back. Naruto's spiritual pressure begins to rise even more as he talks to his blade. Tell me something. Can you help me win? I have a feeling you're much stronger than me. So, lend me as much power as you think I can handle." As Naruto's power explodes, Sasuke and Sakura fall to the ground from the pressure, and Kakashi would fall to one knee before managing to stand back up. Sasuke looks at Naruto, wondering how he was able to do this, and where did this hidden power come from? Naruto appears behind Kakashi and smiles, as he would then be holding the bells, as he tosses one over to Sasuke, who is on the ground, and then he passes out while holding the other in his palm. Naruto wakes up in his apartment with the third Hokage holding his sword. There's no reason to hide it from you any longer, as you will figure it out on your own. Naruto, your father was the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. Naruto's eyes widen in shock, but then he sees the books that are on the table in front of him. He's confused by this. Each of these books were written by him for you. I've tried to read them myself, but I cannot see the text within them. These books will help you master what your father has left for you. You mean my blade? Not only that, but something that's within you that I cannot help you with. Hiruzen leaves the room, and Naruto opens the first book to see that it was blank, as Hiruzen had stated. Naruto thinks about it and how he would be able to see it, but then he focuses on his Shinigami powers, and the first page appears, as it's a letter that would read, "Naruto, my son, if you are reading this, that means I am no longer alive to teach you, and I'm sorry for that. You are different from those around you, and I'm sure you've realized it by now. Naruto, you are what is known, well, I can say that you are half Shinigami, as I did not come from this world. I am from a place known as a Soul Society. I was once a Soul Reaper that defeated many enemies known as Hollows in my lifetime. Read the rest of this book to learn the history of where we come from and how your powers truly work. The blade that I have left you will bond with your soul now that I am gone. Learn its name, and the two of you will grow stronger than you can ever imagine together." Naruto finished the first book within 3 days, as he then joined his team on their missions, and at night, he trains by himself to master his blade. Since I'm a Shinigami, I have to get stronger, as I have a new dream. I not only want to learn about myself, well, my Shinigami side more, but I want to go to the Soul Society. Multi-shadow clone Jutsu. All the clones of Naruto appear around in the area, which means I have to grow stronger before I can go there. Each night, Naruto trains with hundreds of clones to master his blade. Unknowingly to him, this speeds up his training process a lot, but his blade still remains silent. However, he gains a pretty good grasp of how to access his Shinigami powers. Naruto by this time is fed up with the low-ranked missions, and he asks Kakashi if they could try a higher ranked one. The group then goes to the Hokage's office, where they would request for another mission. This is where they end up with the bridge builder Tazuna. Team 7 then leaves with Tazuna and begins their journey to the land of waves. Sasuke would continuously notice Naruto's blade and decide to ask him about it. It was a gift from my father. Sasuke then seemed more interested in the blade because of how strong it made Naruto. If he was able to get his hands on it, he could defeat his elder brother. As they continued on the trail, Naruto could sense 2 other people near them, but he couldn't tell where they were. This is when from a puddle, they jumped out and killed Kakashi. Naruto in his anger grabbed his blade and protected Tazuna from the next attack. Sasuke then moved in and attacked one with Sakura behind him, as Naruto then swung his blade, cutting off the arm of the ninja, while Sasuke used taijutsu to take down the other one. Naruto then pointed the blade in the face of the shinobi. "Who sent you here?" The shinobi, after a while, would give Naruto the information. Sasuke would kill the shinobi who he had defeated and questions Naruto on why he didn't do the same. "There's no point for me to kill someone who is no longer a threat to me." Sasuke calls Naruto soft, but he ignores it. It tells Kakashi to come out of hiding. Their sensei walks out from the trees telling the team that they did well. This is when he begins to interrogate Tazuna. After a while, Naruto stops as he senses someone up ahead. The blade of Zabuza then comes flying at them as Naruto jumps over it while the rest of them duck. Kakashi then steps in front of his team to take on this battle alone. While the two of them have their battle, Naruto sits down to meditate with his blade. Naruto taps into his Shinigami powers and actually enters the world of his Shinigami. It was a jungle, but in this place he was able to communicate with his blade. "You've already helped me so much. I know we can become stronger together, but first we need to know each other. My name is Naruto. What about you?" Naruto turns around, feeling the spiritual energy coming from one direction within this jungle, as he can see the glowing eyes of an animal. "I've always been beside you, even before you were born. My name is..." Naruto's meditation is then broken by Sakura, who pushes him out of the way. Zabuza's clone almost killed him. "Thanks, Sakura." "No problem." But Naruto really wished that she would have waited at least one more second, as he would have heard the name of his blade. He then stands up. "It doesn't matter. I can learn the name later. So what's the plan, Sasuke?" "It's simple, you idiot. Take down the clone and free our sensei." "That works for me." Naruto and Sasuke rush in at the same time at the clone of Zabuza. As Naruto clashes blades with him, Sasuke cuts it with the kunai. Naruto then turns around and slices the clone in half. He then flash steps to Kakashi, and he cuts off the hand of Zabuza that was imprisoning him. This frees the sensei, and Sasuke shoots a fireball at Zabuza, and without his other hand, he's unable to perform hand signs to do a jutsu, so he's scorched by the attack. He then has burn marks on his body, and he's barely able to stand, but then he's hit on his neck by Senbon and he's killed. Team 7 looks up in the trees to see a masked man who thanks him for doing the dirty work, and then he goes down to the body of Zabuza. Naruto tells the masked figure to wait, as he then closes his eyes. "I can sense it. He's still alive, just barely." Naruto grips his blade and jumps out towards the masked figure, but ice blocks his path, and by the time that Naruto gets past it, the two of them were gone. The group makes it to the home of Tazuna, where Kakashi would take a day to rest before teaching them how to walk on trees. Naruto already knew how to do this ability, so he went to train on his own. He would then continue to train until exhaustion, and he does so for the following days, as one day he wakes up late, as by now, his team was already at the bridge battling Zabuza and the masked figure. So, he had to move fast. First, he defeated the bandits that snuck into the home of Tazuna, and then, he ran off to the bridge. As Naruto arrived, he saw that Kakashi was handling Zabuza, just holding him off, enough so that Sasuke, or Naruto, could defeat the masked figure. Naruto then jumped within the crystal ice mirrors to help out Sasuke. The two of them are still overwhelmed by the speed of the attacks and which direction they're coming from. They wouldn't be able to dodge the next wave, so Naruto stepped in front of Sasuke, defending him from the needles. He then starts to tap into his Shinigami, abilities, and as he does so, he hears the voice of his blade. Naruto, after hearing the name, would shout out, "Devour all in your path. Kuroi Kitsune." A blinding light emerges from Naruto and is condensed down into his new weapon, forming a slim, dark aura around his body. Sasuke looks up to see Naruto standing in front of him with a blue and black scythe in his hand. "Let's do this." Naruto swings a scythe, and the shockwaves from it destroy the mirrors around them with a powerful wind. He looks towards Haku and holds his scythe tighter. Naruto then flash steps right in front of him and swings it, cutting it across his chest, but the cut is a little shallow. Naruto then repeats this process over and over until Haku starts to notice how he feels out of energy and truly exhausted. So, it looks like you've noticed. Kuroi Kitsune takes the energy from those in its path and that comes into contact with. However, that's just the first ability that I learned. The second is to release that energy taken into a stronger attack. Black Fang. Naruto swings a scythe as he splits Haku in half and the ground, as Sasuke would look to be shocked that he split the ground somehow, but they were standing on a cement bridge. "I need that blade to get revenge on my elder brother. I have to have that power," Sasuke would say to himself. Naruto then falls to one knee and coughs up blood, watching his blade revert to its katana form. Looks like I can't handle that power or that second ability just yet. Naruto gets back up with the help of Sakura as they watch Kakashi finish off Zabuza. Gato and his henchmen would arrive, but they would be scared off by the people of the town, as the bridge would be finished in the following days and would be named the Great Naruto Bridge. Team 7 then begins their journey back to the Leaf Village, and when they arrive, each of them would go their own separate way. Naruto goes back to his apartment to study the books that was left by his father, to figure out what else could he do. The next day, Kakashi calls a team meeting to discuss the Chunin exams. All of them agree to sign up and they do, and then each of them goes their separate ways once again. However, as Naruto made it deeper and deeper into a forest, he noticed someone was trailing him. "Come out, Sasuke. I know you're there." "Naruto, give me that blade. It's power. It's wasted on you." "Alright, Sasuke. Take it." Naruto tosses the blade to Sasuke, as he then realizes it's just a regular katana. Sasuke would then try to say the name that he heard Naruto say on the bridge, but nothing would happen. It's instantly gone from his hands as Naruto stands above him in the trees. "This blade is bonded to my soul and will only respond to me, as I am its only user. You'll have to find a different one, Sasuke." Naruto vanishes from the area, and days later, Team 7 meets up to take the Chunin exams. As they walk throughout the building, Sasuke gets attacked by Rock Lee and loses the fight. This is when they go to find the real testing room. Team 7 manages to pass the first part of the exams and moves on to the Forest of Death. As then Anko was explaining the rules, she was passing out the scrolls to each team as they headed in. Team 7 gets their scroll and rushes into the forest, as Naruto tells his two teammates to follow him, as he senses a team not too far ahead. They catch up to this random team and take their scroll easily, as now Team 7 decides to rest for a little bit. After only 10 minutes, Naruto stands up and takes out his blade, alerting Sakura and Sasuke. Naruto jumps to the branch that they were standing on and pushes them out of the way, as he's then hit in his chest by a giant snake that drags him out of their sight. Naruto coughs up blood as he has the wind knocked out of him, as he then jumps into the trees above. Now, he performs a wind jutsu that cuts off the head of the serpent. Naruto senses where his teammates are as he sees that they're still in the same location, so he sprints that way, sensing someone else was also there. When he arrives, he sees that Sasuke is being bitten by a pale woman, and he looks for Sakura to see that she was already knocked out. Sasuke would then pass out as well, as Naruto jumps in to attack the pale woman, only to be hit in his stomach. Orochimaru increases the seal on the Nine Tails so that Naruto wouldn't be able to rely on its power even if he did get angry enough. However, this Naruto was also smart, as he made shadow clones that took Sasuke and Sakura towards the tower, as they already had their scroll. We can't hold back in this fight. This guy's strong, so come out and devour him. Kuroi Kitsune. The black and blue weapon piques the interest of the Sannin. He jumps out at the boy, but Naruto vanishes and strikes him in his side. Naruto then continues to outpace them and lands several attacks and slashes around his body, without even knowing it, due to the seal that he put on Naruto's tailed beast, or the seal that he strengthened. Orochimaru boosted Naruto's control over his Shinigami powers. Orochimaru sneaks up behind Naruto and he uses Show number 1 to then point his finger and push him back. Naruto then releases the power stored within his sight, cutting off the arm of Orochimaru, as he did manage to dodge it, so he didn't get split in half. This caused the Sannin to then flee from the scene, not knowing what Naruto was truly capable of at this point. Naruto lets him go and puts the scythe back on his back, as he then reverts to his katana form, as he then sprints towards the clones and arrives to see Sasuke destroying each of them with the power of the curse mark. Naruto then gets an idea as he calls his blade one more time. He then stabs Sasuke in his shoulder, as the curse mark would revert to his base state and Sasuke falls unconscious again. Naruto would pick him up, as he and Sakura would make it to the tower with an unconscious Sasuke in only a day. The preliminary matches are still held, as the only match that changes is Naruto versus Kiba. This match begins, and Kiba is completely outmatched by Naruto in every category, leading to an easy win to Naruto, who didn't even have to draw his own blade. This is when the remaining participants are given time to train. Naruto trains on his own until he senses someone's watching him. He swings his blade and cuts down the trees in front of Jiraiya, who was hiding behind them. Impressive indeed, but you rely too heavily on your Shinigami abilities. Don't forget, you are a shinobi as well. Who are you? Naruto questions. I am Jiraiya, the Toad Sannin, and your godfather, Naruto. Now come with me. We only have a month to train, so let's get started. Naruto is taken to Mount Miyaboku, where he begins his training. So Naruto, since we don't have much time, let's take the whole month to only master one ability. I want to teach you how to harness the power of the Nine Tails within your body. Jiraiya looks at the seal on Naruto's stomach and notices that it's been reinforced, but he's still able to open it up just a little bit. This causes Naruto to fall unconscious and wake up in front of a gate. He gets closer, as he then sees the Nine Tails, who approaches the gate as well. What do we have here? Another petty human coming to use my powers for their own selfish desires. Nothing has ever changed. Naruto looks at the fox, as it reminded him of what he saw when he talked to his blade. This causes Naruto to kneel, shocking the tailed beast. I know my desires may seem selfish to you, but I want you to at least listen to my words. I've learned that I'm gifted, but I'm also lucky to have these powers within me. I want to become stronger with these powers. However, I know that isn't as easy as it seems, so that's why I'm asking you, the Nine Tails, to lend me whatever amount of power you think I deserve. Believe in me so that we can grow stronger together. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, the proud son of Minato Namikaze. I wish to know your name as well if you have one. You are very different from any other human I've interacted with before. Even if I wish to call you or what you say lies, I sense no malice in your words. Therefore I, Kurama, the Nine-Tails, will bestow upon you a small fraction of my great power. Kurama sticks his claws through the cage and taps on Naruto's stomach where the seal is. Suddenly, an orange aura emerges from Naruto's body as he wakes up. Jiraiya is astonished that Naruto was able to gain this much power from the Nine-Tails in their first encounter. What could he have said to the beast? Naruto makes the power vanish, and Jiraiya smiles, telling him that he's a prodigy just like his father. A month passes faster than the two realized, as Naruto would be running late. The first match for the Chunin exams was announced to be Neji versus Naruto, who wasn't there. Luckily, Naruto made it just in time for his fight, and told Neji he was sorry for the wait. The match begins as Naruto runs at Neji, but he jumps back, dodging the 360 palm rotation. Neji then goes on the offensive by activating his Byakugan. But this was strange. He looks at Naruto in complete confusion. What is he? All he could see was lines. There are no chakra points. They're just lines of chakra that go throughout his body. Even more than that, it's not just the chakra lines that are within Naruto's body. It seems he has 3 sources of chakra to Neji, as he can see that when he looks at Naruto's stomach. And one layer was a very chaotic one that guarded his chakra lines, which was very strange. There's nothing for him to close. Even if he was to land a direct hit, he's not sure he could get past that thick chakra barrier that protects the lines. But this was all due to Naruto's genetics. Neji, in his confusion, is struck by Naruto, who sends him flying into the wall. Neji then gets back up in his stance, and Naruto wants to use his blade, but he decides to rely on what he was taught by Jiraiya. Naruto jumps at Neji and throws an explosive kunai at his shoe. Neji manages to take off his shoe right before it explodes, but then he's kicked by Naruto. Each hit after this was unpredictable due to Naruto's speed. Neji then managed to land a counterattack as he hits Naruto in his stomach. However, this Naruto vanishes in smoke as the real one comes from underground and punches Neji with an uppercut. This would knock out Neji and win Naruto the match. The rest of the matches would then go the same, leading to the attack on Konoha by the Grass Village and the Sand Village. Naruto runs off after Sakura and Sasuke, but when he catches up with them, he sees Sasuke about to be killed. Naruto steps in the way and uses his blade to cut through the sand, as Naruto grabs the head of Gaara and drags him away from his teammate so that they could fight without Sasuke getting injured. Naruto then blitzed Gaara, who was trying to transform, but he was then knocked out. The fight was over when Naruto entered the battlefield. The third Hokage would still be killed, losing his life, as this would sadden Naruto more than it did in the original. But this leads to Naruto and Jiraiya going out to get Tsunade, as much of this short arc would go the same with Naruto learning the Rasengan. So now, this would lead to the Sasuke Retrieval Arc, where only one thing would change. When Naruto finally catches up to Sasuke, he goes all out, using the power that he was given by the Nine-Tails. Naruto jumps forward on all fours and kicks Sasuke in his chest. After this, he throws a monstrous amount of rapid attacks that Sasuke is kept on the defensive by. Even though he was in the second stage of the curse mark, Naruto still seemed stronger than him, which angered him even more. Naruto, with the power of the Nine-Tails, pulls out his sword and continued to fight Sasuke. As he does this, Kabuto and more reinforcements from the Grass Village would arrive to make sure that Sasuke makes it to Orochimaru. By the time that Naruto cuts down all of his opponents, Sasuke and Kabuto were gone. The Sasuke Retrieval Squad returns empty-handed, and Naruto is the most upset. Jiraiya then tells him that they are leaving the Leaf Village so that Naruto can complete his ninja and Shinigami training. This 3-year time skip is completely different from the one in the original, as Naruto and Jiraiya stayed in Mount Miyaboku for all 3 years. Naruto learns many offensive and defensive Kido spells, as well as getting stronger with Kuroi Kitsune. It takes Naruto 2 years to achieve Bonkai, as he would use a tool left to Jiraiya from Minato. It was a prototype of the tool that Urahara made to achieve his own Bonkai. But we'll get more into Naruto's Bonkai when it actually appears for the first time, or the second or third time you could say. Naruto also gains more power from the Nine Tails as well as Sage Mode. Naruto also completes Minato's goal of combining a chakra nature with the Rasengan, as he created the Rasen Shuriken way earlier than he did in the original. Naruto leaves Mount Miyaboku with Jiraiya and returns to the Leaf Village. As Naruto stands over the Leaf Village in mid-air, he smiles while falling to the ground. He goes to the office of Tsunade and hands her his headband. What is the meaning of this, Naruto? I am no longer shinobi, but I remain on the side of the Leaf Village. I'm going to defeat the Akatsuki, one by one, alone. Naruto disappears from the Leaf Village that night, as no one could stop him, even if they tried, and Tsunade ordered Jiraiya to go after him. Her old friend then explains that even if they gathered an army, they wouldn't be able to bring Naruto back to the Leaf. That's how strong he has become. Days later, within the Sand Village, they're attacked by Sasori and Deidara. But as they try to escape the village with Gaara, Naruto cuts down the bird from the sky as Gaara begins to fall and is caught by Naruto. Deidara demands to know who he is, but Sasori quotes Itachi's description of the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki. From their sight, Naruto vanishes and reappears on the battlefield, this time without Gaara. Let's end this quickly. I have more of you to hunt down. Sasori tries to move, but the blade of Naruto splits him in half as Deidara uses explosions to create clay birds as he then tries to fly away. Naruto turns around to see all of Sasori's puppets behind him. Devour them all, Kuroi Kitsune. A darkness surrounds Naruto as the black and blue scythe appears once again. Naruto turns to Deidara in the sky and swings it, releasing a wave of dark energy that cuts him in half. Naruto then tilts his head back to see the army of puppets behind him. It's almost amusing that you think that'll be enough to defeat me. The puppet would then attack Naruto, or one of them, but Naruto dodged and stabbed his hand through its chest. However, the puppet isn't a living being, so it still tried to move and pierce Naruto's chest, but the hand of the puppet will be broken. Looks like you're too weak to do any damage to me. Naruto tears the puppets to shreds and defeats Sasori's other puppets as well. On his way back to the Sand Village, he finds Kankuro on the ground, so he picks him up and takes him back as well. Gaara wakes up and sees Naruto in the room, thanking him. Don't mention it. Send one of your shinobi to the Leaf Village and tell them to send a medical ninja here to heal him from the poison. All I could do was delay the effects of it, so I bought him some more time. Gaara nods but questions where Naruto was heading off to. I'm going to hunt down the rest of them, of course. What else? Naruto departs from the sand after resting for a couple hours as he continues on his journey. The Leaf Village gets word that 2 Akatsuki members are in the Land of Fire, so Tsunade sends her shinobi to that location. Team Azuma and Kakashi, including Jiraiya, were on the scene. However, when they arrived, they saw that one Akatsuki member was already defeated by Naruto, and the other was still fighting him. They wanted to join in, but Jiraiya stopped them and told them to watch. Naruto dodges the scythe of Hidan and swings his own. He then managed to cut him as he flipped away. It seems Kuroi Kitsune has taken a liking to your energy. Therefore, it's my job to help him devour it all. Naruto increases his speed to such a high degree that those without a dojutsu could not see his movements. With each strike, Naruto gets faster, stronger, and Hidan isn't able to stay standing as the spiritual pressure that was emitting off of Naruto was insane. Naruto cuts off the head of Hidan, who still managed to talk, as he takes it away from the body. The Leaf Shinobi who were there tied down the body as it was still alive, just very weak, as they waited for Naruto to then return. Sakura looked at Jiraiya and asked who Naruto was truly. There's no point in trying to hide it any longer. Naruto is not from this world at all. He belongs to another. But he promised to help out this world before returning to his own. Naruto sits down the head of Hidan and demands to know where the rest of the Akatsuki is. He refuses to give up that information, as expected, so Naruto buries the head far underground as he takes the body and puts it at the bottom of a lake as well. Naruto then discusses with Jiraiya, and his sensei gives him a possible location of Pain. He tells Naruto that he could be in the Hidden Rain Village, but he's not sure. Naruto then departs from the leaf once again, as he plans to end this all right now by finishing off the leader of the Akatsuki. It takes him a while to find the Hidden Rain Village, but when he does, Naruto sneaks in easily, but he's detected by Konan. She descends from the sky with her paper wings, questioning Naruto who he was and why he was here. Before Naruto could answer, all the paths of pain jump down in front of him, causing him to jump back. Naruto takes out his blade and does the multi-shadow clone jutsu. He creates hundreds of clones that attack each path of pain, but eventually they are all defeated. Naruto appears again, this time in a perfected sage mode that was being amped by the power of the Nine Tails. Naruto blitzed the Ashura and the Animal Paths, destroying them first. The Diva Path then uses the Rinnegan to send Naruto flying back, which is when the Human Path appears behind him, ready to attack. Naruto forms a Rasengan and slams it into the chest of this path, while also regaining his footing. Before he even realized it, the Naraka Path had summoned the King of Hell, which restored the other paths of pain. So, I had to take you out first then. That shouldn't be a problem, even with all of you attacking me. Naruto then jumps towards the Naraka Path to only have the Diva Path pull him towards, himself, and shoot a chakra rod at him. Naruto reacts quickly, and, to the shock of the Diva Path, he cuts through the chakra rod with his katana. What kind of blade is that? Naruto dodges the other paths of pain and cuts the Naraka Path in half, destroying it. Alright, 1 down, 5 more to go. Naruto then takes down the Animal Path as well, and by this time he notices that his Sage Mode is beginning to fade away. So he decides to take this fight a little more seriously so he can end it quicker. Naruto stands on top of a building, and he shouts out the name of his blade, summoning the scythe. Soon after, dark energy begins to surge around the area and flows towards Naruto, completely covering his body, making it hard to see him. The Diva Path could no longer, see him. And he was standing there in horror because of how potent this energy around Naruto had become. All he could hear was the voice of Naruto. It was calm, yet it was so menacing as he only said a couple words. Bonkai. Oni Kitsune. The darkness around Naruto was then absorbed into his very being, as he now stands in front of the remaining paths of pain and Konan, looking completely different. So let's pause the story for a moment to explain Naruto's Bonkai. Oni Kitsune, or Demon Fox, is the name of Naruto's Bonkai when it's in its yin form. Within this form, Naruto's hair becomes black, as his eyes turn a deeper blue. The Zanpakuto itself remains, or it becomes jet black with no blue accents, but it remains a scythe. It has two special abilities or techniques. One is known as crowd control. Whatever comes into close proximity of the scythe has its spiritual energy taken, and that energy is transferred into Naruto. The other ability is known as Shadow Fang. The scythe is able to cut the shadows of its opponents. However, no ability or technique comes without drawbacks. So, this Bonkai, of course, has its own. The transformation does not last that long, and when using Shadow Fang, the shadow of an opponent, well, it has to be visible, so it'll be pretty hard for Naruto to fight in the air if he's no longer able to see the shadow from the ground, or in a dark area. If Naruto uses Shadow Fang for too long, his shadow also becomes vulnerable to attacks from others. Now, let's continue. The Diva Path stares at Naruto in true fear because of the aura that surrounded him when he was in this form. It felt as if death was in his near future. The remaining paths of pain rush at Naruto, who cuts their shadow when they got close to him. The Diva Path is not excluded from this execution as well. Naruto then follows Konan as she runs away to where Nagato's real body was, and he appears before them. Naruto kills Konan, which angers Nagato, but he can't do anything to Naruto. Naruto would kill him as well, before falling to the ground and coughing up a lot of blood. His hair slowly reverts back to his yellow state, as his scythe would also go back to his original katana-like form. Looks like I can still only hold this form for 3 minutes. I have to keep training, but first, Naruto takes the eyes of Nagato and returns to the leaf. He has Tsunade seal them away in a place that only he can access. By this time, Sasuke had joined the Akatsuki and was making his way to capture the Eight-Tails Jinchuriki, as this would eventually lead to the Kage Summit, which Naruto goes with Tsunade to. Sasuke still appears here to take down Naruto, but he instantly realizes the difference between the two of them and how strong each of them has become. Sasuke attacks Naruto, but with the swing of a Shikai in its base state, Naruto releases a shockwave energy that cuts the arm off of Sasuke. The masked figure then attacks Naruto, but he dodges and slits his throat using Shadow Fang in just a split second. Even if Obito is able to become intangible, he can't protect his shadow. Black Zetsu, who was present on the outside of the room, would be sealed by Naruto shortly after as well. Naruto would go and find the base of Orochimaru that was in shambles, but he recovers his research on the Reaper Death Seal. Months then go by as Naruto is able to perfectly replicate the Jutsu and summon his father from the dead. Minato is shocked to see his son, but then he notices the blade, which causes him to smile. Naruto, why did you? There's no time to explain. I've read all your books, and I want to go find my uncle and then travel to the Soul Society. Another year and a couple months go by, as in the Bleach universe, we see Ichigo in his classroom. Rukia then gets an alert on her phone for a holo, and the two of them leave the school and run to the location. When they arrive, they see a yellow-haired Soul Reaper with a scythe, watching the holo fade away. Naruto turns, and he sees Ichigo in the same outfit as him. Rukia, who is this creep? Hey, I can hear you. I don't know, I've never seen him in the Soul Society. But be careful, Ichigo. He's strong. Naruto puts a scythe on his back, and he walks up to Ichigo. Since you're a Soul Reaper, can you tell me where Kisuke Urahara is? Rukia then pulls Ichigo back, as she would ask why Naruto wanted to see Urahara. Oh, that's right. Allow me to apologize as I haven't formally introduced myself. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and Urahara is my uncle. Ichigo looks at Naruto, wondering if what he said was true. But Rukia tells him not to believe this fake Soul Reaper. What the hell do you mean not believe him? He defeated the Hollow, didn't he? Think, Ichigo. Where did this mysterious Soul Reaper come from, if not from the Soul Society? Naruto looks at the two of them and sighs. Ichigo, that was your name, right? Yeah, that's right. How about a friendly spar then? If I win, you take me to Urahara. So, do we have a deal? Ichigo, you can't be seriously taking this deal from this stranger. Why not? He can't possibly be that strong. Rukia in her mind calls him an idiot, as Naruto tells Ichigo to follow him so they can go somewhere where they wouldn't hurt anyone else during their battle. Alright, I'll try to pace myself during this fight, but I have a question. Your spiritual energy, why is it so chaotic? What do you mean? Man, this isn't good. You're asking me to explain it to you? I'm not that good at it, so how about I show you during our battle? Works for me. Just prepare to lose. Ichigo jumps forward swinging his blade, but is dodged by Naruto. Rukia then shouts out for Ichigo to now dodge, but he's kicked in his stomach. Whoa, that's weird. Hey Ichigo, go ahead and release your Shikai. My what? Release your Zanpakuto? Power of your blade? Come on, you should know this. You're a Soul Reaper, aren't you? Ichigo then explains how he's a substitute Soul Reaper. And Naruto, he's shocked by this, as he's only read one case of this in the history, but he thinks it's pretty cool. Ichigo looks down at his blade, thinking back to what Naruto had just said. Then he thinks back to the moment with the Minos Grande when it had appeared. Could that be the power that he's talking about? Alright, it seems you don't really understand, so I'll try to help you. Multi-Shadow Clone Jutsu. Rukia seems so surprised because Naruto created hundreds of clones of himself. Ichigo was completely surrounded, and this is when she heard the laughter of Urahara, who stands next to her. Hey Rukia, who's the kid giving Ichigo a run for his money right now? It's about damn time you showed up. I called you 3 minutes ago. I don't know who he is, but he's an unknown Soul Reaper, and he says you're his uncle. Urahara looks at Naruto and sees Minato within the boy, as there's no mistaking the resemblance between the two. Ichigo's spiritual pressure begins to increase as he then destroys all the clones around him. How's that, Naruto? Pretty impressive. You learn quicker than me. So, why don't we start taking this fight seriously? Naruto stabs his katana into the ground as a dark aura begins to surround him and completely cover him. Rukia shouts out for Ichigo to get back. Before Naruto could continue, the blade of Urahara was now at his throat. You know, I knew my nephew would be strong, but who knew he'd almost be at the level of a captain in the Soul Society? Hey Ichigo. What's up, Urahara? Come with me. You too, Rukia. They go back to his shop, where Naruto explains the world that he comes from, and Ichigo is confused by it. Urahara was saddened to hear that his younger brother had perished, but he was happy that Naruto was here now. Urahara then shows them a picture of him and Naruto's father, and they instantly notice the similarities between the two. Well, between Minato and Naruto, that is. Ichigo speaks up here. Sorry to interrupt your little family reunion, but why did you stop the fight between me and Naruto? Urahara sighs. Naruto would have killed you at your current state. He then turns to Naruto saying, You've achieved the name of your Zanpakuto and you were about to release it, weren't you? Yes, I learned that when I was about 12, and I also learned Bonkai when I was around 15, although it took me 2 years to, fully develop it in a way, you could say. Rukia slams her hands on the table in disbelief. There's no way you learned Bonkai at that age. Naruto then stands up looking her dead in her eyes. Not only did I learn it in 2 years, My Zanpakuto has 2 different Bonkais. This even caused Urahara to be shocked by the information that he was hearing, as he's never heard anything like this before. Naruto then sits back down, folding his arm. Man, that's nothing. Whenever he learns the name of his Zanpakuto and masters his own Bonkai, I can tell he'll be stronger than me. He says this while pointing at Ichigo, who was still very confused by all the terms that they were using. Hey Ichigo, how about I start training you? Ichigo agrees, as he then begins to head back home, and Urahara questions why Naruto wants to train Ichigo. I'm surprised you haven't seen it. When he fights, he has a spark in his eyes. He's not just fighting for himself. I can tell he's a good guy fighting for the people that he cares about. In a sense, he's just like me. However, I am a little jealous of Ichigo. Oh yeah? And why's that, kid? I didn't want to say it while they were here, but I'll tell you. My father's death led to many things happening in the area that I grew up. I was hated by most of those who were around me. It could have been worse if not for a man I consider my grandfather. He took me in, but even that didn't stop the mistreatment I got within my home. Hey uncle, would it be okay if I stay in this world from now on? Urahara smiles, telling Naruto that he's glad to keep him around. Behind the door of this room, Uryu and Jinta were crying because of Naruto's sad story. The next day, while Ichigo was in class and not paying attention, his teacher said that they would be introducing a new student. This is when Naruto walked into the room, waving at Ichigo and Rukia. This shocked both of them, as they wondered why he was here. As he sits down next to Ichigo, he tells him he was bored sitting around Urahara's shop. And after school, Ichigo goes with Naruto to an area where they could train. They would do so for hours, and then Ichigo heads home. However, things couldn't remain like this, as Rukia was running away from 2 people who were watching her. Renji and Byakuya jump down, stopping her from running, as Renji swings his sword, causing her to jump back. You already know how bad the crime you've committed is, so why resist us now? But we need to know where that human who has your powers is, so that we can finish him off. As Renji goes in for another attack, a Quincy arrow flies by his head. While this was going on, Naruto was laying down as he then opened his eyes. He walked outside of Urahara's shop and smiled. I can sense it. No one else could hold this power, except for a captain. It must be my lucky day. Wait a minute. I also sense Ichigo that way. I can't let him fight the captain alone. Renji was about to strike Ichigo down when Naruto arrived just in time, blocking the blade for him. Hey Ichigo, I'm sorry I'm late, and I'm sorry to take your fight, but do you mind if I handle this one? Yeah. Go ahead, he's all yours. Renji backs up, looking at Naruto. Who the hell are you? I don't like giving answers to those who hurt my friends. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and this here is Kuroi Kitsune. Naruto stabs his blade into the ground as the dark energy covers his body, making it impossible to see him. Then, all of that energy is consumed into Naruto and his scythe. Byakuya tells Renji to be careful, as his opponent is strong. Renji looks at Naruto and swings his blade that extends towards him. Naruto smiles, catching it with his bare hand. Hey Ichigo, can you tell me what's going on before I get rid of these 2? Yeah, they're trying to take Rukia to the Soul Society. Really? I've always wanted to go there, but maybe another time. Renji tries to pull the blade back, but he's not able to. What? What is this crazy power? And how is he able to block my Zanpakuto with his bare hand? Naruto smiles, letting go, and he looks at Ichigo. Think of this as another part of your training. Try to keep up with me with your eyes. Right. Naruto goes to take a step and instantly vanishes as he appears right in front of Renji and cuts him across his chest. The eyes of Ichigo, Rukia, and even Byakuya would widen. Damn it. How did he move that fast? Renji swings his Zanpakuto down, but Naruto vanishes once again and goes to strike Renji down from above in his back. But then, this blade is blocked by Byakuya. Rukia shouts for Naruto to get out of there, but he waves this off. So, you're the captain. You know, I want to become one myself, so how about you give me your spot? Byakuya calls Naruto arrogant as he dodges this next swing from the scythe. I guess since you're a captain, there's no need for me to, hold back on you. Multi-shadow clone Jutsu. The hundreds of clones shock the Soul Reapers who've never seen a technique to this caliber. Byakuya is able to perfectly dodge and defend each one of them, defeating all of them. Hey Rukia, you said it's impossible for me to achieve Bonkai when I was that age. So, how about I just show you it right now? Byakuya and Renji then both attack Naruto at the same time. Renji thinks that if this kid can really perform Bonkai, he needs to help out his captain. But then he sees the face of his captain. Don't interfere with this battle. Naruto sighs, thinking these two may be more troublesome than he anticipated. I could go all out, but I would end up hurting Ichigo or his friend. So maybe I can... Naruto then ducks under the blade of Byakuya. You're hesitating. Don't tell me that after all that big talk, you're afraid. As if. I'll cut you down right now. Kurama, lend me some power. Naruto's eyes go red as the blue on a scythe would do the same. Naruto speeds up his movements, but Byakuya can do the same, as the captain then cuts open his shoulder and then does the same to Naruto's other shoulder, as he now points the blade at his face. You are strong, but you're arrogant. You can never become a captain of the 13 squads. Naruto smiles, turning into smoke, as Byakuya then receives 9 cuts to his chest, as he now starts to leak blood. Ichigo looks around and sees the real Naruto smirking. Man, for a captain, you let your guard down easily. Byakuya puts his hand on his chest and then looks at his fingers, noticing that he actually is bleeding, which was kind of new to him. This is when something no one expected to happen would happen. Rukia runs over to her elder brother and tries to tend to his wounds. This is when the three of them begin to retreat to the Soul Society. However, Naruto lets them go. Ichigo was angered by this. Why did you let them leave? Ichigo, they lost the battle, and they know that. I let them go because we're going to save Rukia. Of course. Think about it. We're going to the Soul Society. But we need to heal those injuries, and we need to train. Naruto uses a medical ninjutsu on Ichigo and Uryu that gets them back to their feet. This is when Urahara arrives and takes both of them back to his place to train them for 10 days. When Ichigo regains his Soul Reaper powers, he asks where Naruto is training at. Urahara points behind him to where an explosion would happen. Ichigo wants to go check it out, but he stopped. Right now, Naruto is fighting for his life because he wants to help you as much as he can. Leave him to his own training. This is when we see Naruto getting knocked into a bunch of rocks by a figure with white hair. You've gotten weaker since the last time we've battled, Naruto. Don't tell me you've grown soft on me. Yeah, whatever. Just keep it coming. The 10 days would go by fast as Urahara brings them back down to their basement, where they would see a bloody Naruto still training and getting beat up. As he turns around, he sees Ichigo, Urahime, Chad, and an Uryu, and a black cat. Damn it. Looks like my time is up. Thanks for your help. The figure with white hair teases Naruto before healing him and then vanishing. Ichigo looks at Naruto, who stares up at the ceiling. Hey Ichigo, you ready? Yeah, let's go. Urahara explains the details and has Yoriichi as their guide. The group goes through the portal and then sprints as the walls began to collapse on them. They barely made it out thanks to Orihime, and Yoruichi points to the direction of the Soul Society. Naruto looks forward smiling as his blood begins to boil with excitement. I've made it here. At last. Ichigo then runs past Naruto, trying to get into the Sarate, but the walls fall down from the sky, blocking his path, and then a guard appears in his way as well. As the guard and Ichigo begin their fight, Orihime and Chad try to go help him out, but Naruto stops them. You two need to understand something, so listen up. I know you're his friends, but you need to learn when to help him out and when to let him fight alone. Plus, Ichigo can handle this fight. I'm sure of it. And when he gets that gate open, I'm gonna run through and clear the path for you guys. So make sure you save Rukia. Yoruichi then decides to ask Naruto about his training and his own Bonkai. Is that who you were facing in the basement? Yes, that was the Yang half of my Bonkai. I still have yet to win against that half, but I have a feeling that I will soon. A loud explosion is heard, and then the group turns to see that Ichigo has broken the blades of the guard. As the guard then decides to raise the gates, however, a man with white hair stood on the other side. Naruto flash steps past everyone and swings his blade. It's blocked as the two now make eye contact. Oh my, you are strong. He hits Naruto in the chest, pushing him back, as Naruto then has to raise his guard. He wants to go back through the gate, but there's no way the group is going to be able to keep up with him. This is when Jin releases the Zanpakuto as it extends towards Naruto. Naruto deflects the blade, but he watches the gate then close down. As everyone else goes to explore the district, Naruto remains standing in front of the gate. Yoruichi asked what he was planning, but Naruto had an idea. Multi-shadow clone jutsu. He uses his clones to make a ladder, as he then wrote down what he was able to see. He jumps back down, handing the detailed map to Yoruichi. This should be good enough for when we get in, but I'll have to make a couple more. There's guards on the other side of this gate now, so we need to find another way in. The two head back, and Naruto gives the map of the Soul Society to all of them, so if they are separated, they won't get too lost. Yoruichi then visits an old man, where she would ask if he knows where Kukaku Shiba was located. This is when someone kicked down the door, looking at Ichigo and Naruto. What the hell are Soul Reapers doing here, old man? Naruto then walked over, putting his hand on his shoulder. You're too loud. Ganju makes eye contact with Naruto's red eyes, as he then passes out. Ichigo then turned to him. What the hell was that? It's a type of hypnosis from my homeworld. Now, let's continue this conversation. A couple more minutes go by as Ganju is taken away by his men. The next day, the group finds the home of Kukaku Shiba, and Ichigo and Uryu have the same reaction, as there's no way that this house is supposed to be hidden. It sticks out like a sore thumb. They would then follow the guards in to see a woman sitting down. It's been quite some time, Yoruichi. Kukaku, I've come to ask you for a favor. Oh yeah? And what is it? And who are those brats behind you? Yoruichi explains their situation, and Kukaku agrees, saying she doesn't mind the risk at all. I'll be assigning someone to help oversee this operation. He's my useless younger brother. Hey Ganju. She slides open the door, and this is where the group sees the man that they met before. Ganju's face then turns pale while looking at Naruto. No, not that guy again. Hey, what's wrong with you? You look like you've seen a ghost, Ganju. Ganju waves it off, and Kukaku takes them to the machine. I'm going to send you guys into the Sarate using this. Naruto is amazed by its design. So, we're traveling through the sky to break through the barrier. She nods, and Ichigo questions if they'll make it in one piece. Sure you will, but first, you'll have to learn how to make a cannonball. This is where the group listens to Kukaku as she explains how to create the cannonball. Naruto learns how to do it after only an hour. Hey Yorichi, I'm heading out to do some training on my own. I'll be back early in the morning. Kukaku comments on the boy as she leaves her home. He seems different from the rest. What kind of training is he going out to do that he can't do here? Naruto is quite gifted. If he had been born in the Serite within the Soul Society, he would surely be a captain by now. Yorichi, you seem to have faith in a lot of them, especially in that one. I do indeed. I believe that he soon will master his Bonkai. Kukaku seems even more shocked that a kid his age would already be so advanced. He's more like a monster than a kid, if you put it that way. Naruto walks far away from everything and summons Kuroi Kitsune into this world. It takes on its Yang form, greeting Naruto. So, we meet again. Maybe this time, you can be a challenge for me, Naruto. You know, you talk more than your other half. Is that so? The white-haired man then rushes Naruto and kicks him to the ground. Well, if that's the case, would you rather I silently beat your ass? Naruto jumps away, swinging the scythe, but it's dodged and he's punched in the face. That scythe, it simply won't do anymore. If you truly want to master me, you'll have to use something different. A different weapon? What do you mean? Kuroi Kitsune gets behind Naruto and slams him to the ground, taking the scythe. Ignorant as ever, I see. But I guess you need a better hint than that. Think about the name of the yin half. Oni Kitsune. The name of something truly demonic with a weapon to match, as it symbolizes the Grim Reaper. Now, I'll give you my name, as I believe that'll be a better hint. So, it's time for me to truly introduce myself to you, Naruto. My name is... As the name is spoken, the white-haired man, well, his hair gains red tips, and his outfit gains the same red accents as well. The red and white flames begin to swirl around his body, and he opens his eyes as they are now yellow. This is my true form and power, Naruto. Naruto remembers the name as it echoes throughout his mind. And then, the next time we see him, he's walking back to Kukaku's home. Everyone was waiting on him so that they could leave, and they turned around once they sensed the spiritual energy. Ichigo looks at Naruto. What the hell happened to you? Nothing at all. Now let's go. Yorichi could tell that something was truly different about the boy. Could he have unlocked his second Bonkai? Or did he fail? No. Just by looking at his face, I can tell that progress was made. Orihime would go on and try to heal Naruto, but he stops her. Thanks, but save your strength. Once we get inside those walls, it'll be a constant, never-ending battle. She nods, and they all are shocked as Naruto's cuts and bruises begin to disappear as steam comes off of his body. They wondered what this was, but they decided not to ask as they're running on a schedule. The group is then launched into the sky, and they break into the Serite. But as they made it in, they're separated. Kenpachi Zaraki decides to chase one of them down, following their spiritual energy, and he's guided by his vice captain. Naruto lands in some trees and sees a kid walking around. He uses the transformation jutsu to change into this child and then walk around undetected. He jumps on top of a building and then sprints in one direction, sensing the spiritual pressure of Ichigo. However, when he jumps onto another rooftop, someone was in his way. It's a random Soul Reaper asking what a kid was doing on the roof, but Naruto knocks him out and hides the body. Alright, I need to keep moving. I can sense that Ichigo is fighting someone, but he should be able to take care of them. So while he does that, I'll make sure to clear a path to where Rukia is. But where is she? Naruto looks up towards the tower and believes that's where she is, as she has to be there, as he doesn't know what else could be up there. Naruto closes his eyes and then senses someone strong to fight, and this is when he truly feels it. He jumps into the sky, dodging the blade of someone with a mask on. Naruto speeds past them and rips the mask off their head, or it was kind of like a helmet, to reveal this dog-like man. For Ryoku, you are fast, but as a captain of the 13 squads, I must cut you down. So reveal your true form as I see through that disguise. Naruto reveals his true form and pulls out his blade. I have a question of my own. How does one become a captain? I see that you have interest in us. Very well. If you defeat me, Captain Kamamara, in battle, then I'll answer your question. Naruto nods, rushing in, swinging his blade. As the captain goes to block, Naruto vanishes and cuts him in his shoulder. He's fast. I can't take him lightly. Kamamara swings his blade where Naruto was to see that he's not there anymore, as he's then cut across his chest. Naruto forms a Rasengan and the captain blocks with his own blade. You are indeed strong as a foe. So grace me. What is your name? My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I will remember your name, as now the battle will truly be over. The captain summons his Shikai, and Naruto smirks, swinging the blade as he dodges the phantom parts of it that attack him. I was going to take this fight a little more serious, but it seems I won't have to. Naruto then used the power of Kurama within his body to completely outspeed the captain, landing fatal blows all around his body. To Kamamura, Naruto was simply a blur of yellow. He couldn't even compete with such raw speed that rivaled one of their own captains, Byakuya, maybe even surpassing it in this moment. Naruto then cuts him across his chest one final time, and Kamamura falls to the ground. Naruto sheathes his own blade and then starts to walk away. You don't have to answer the question. I don't want the answer from such a weak captain. Kamamura is angered by this and believes it's his duty to not let Naruto pass, so he somehow stands up and summons his own Bonkai. The giant samurai appears, swinging down its blade at Naruto, who blocked with just his Zanpakuto still in its sealed state. The samurai then uses more force, pushing Naruto into the ground, causing a large explosion. Kamamura looks down, only to see a log in its place. Naruto now stands on a rooftop smiling. Man, you actually managed to make this more fun than I could have ever imagined. However, I think you've forgotten something, Captain Kamamura. I haven't even shown you my blade's true strength. Devour them all, Kuroi Kitsune. The dark, ominous aura shoots into the sky, shocking all of those who can see it. Kamamura seems to be the most shocked, as this Zanpakuto, or Shikai, well, it's something that has never been seen before. The samurai then swings the blade at Naruto, but it's deflected. I've already figured out how your Bonkai works. You and this thing are connected in a way, so that means this will be easier for me to take you down. Naruto increases his speed, cutting the samurai all over his body. Kamamura seems to have the same cuts as well, as he's exhausted and barely standing. He wonders why his spiritual energy seems to be fading. It seems you've realized it on your own. My Zanpakuto, in its Shikai state, is very special, Captain. It devours the energy of my opponents. But that's only the first ability, as the second is to release that very same energy. Black Fang. A dark wave of energy strikes Kamamura in his chest as his Bonkai then disappears. Naruto's Shikai then returns to his Zanpakuto state. And when Kamamura wakes up, he sees Naruto. My body. It's healed. Of course it is. Did you think I was going to kill you? I'm only here to save a friend and fight the captains. I want to show all of you that my father's trust within me was not in vain. Who is your father? His name was Minato. Hearing this brought back so many memories for Kamamura, but when he looked back, Naruto was gone. By now it was nighttime, so Naruto decided to hide within a building, concealing his presence so he slept. In the morning, he was found by Yoruichi. I felt your energy clashing with someone very strong, but just by looking at you, I can tell that you've won that fight. I did. Just another captain who seemed to be complacent with his power. I know where Ichigo is, as I can sense him right now, so I'm going to regroup up with him and Ganju. Yoruichi, I think you should go check up on the others. I sense Orihime and Oryu's energy next to each other, so you should probably go check up on Chad, as I believe he's alone. Naruto and Yoruichi would split up as he finds a way underground, and as Hanatsuro says that no one knows about this place, Ichigo points behind him to Naruto. How did you find us? I sensed your spiritual energy before you decided to conceal it while moving through these tunnels. How did your battle go the other day, Ichigo? I won them, but he warned me of the captains, as they are much stronger. Naruto sighs. Yeah, I guess. I fought one myself, but he was defeated. The others are probably stronger than him, though. Hanatsuro didn't believe that Naruto defeated one of the captains, but he tells him about the battle. Trust me, I'm one of the strongest ones here. Nothing will stop me from helping Ichigo either. So, Ichigo, you think you can take on a captain yourself? Ichigo nods, being confident in his abilities, as Hanatsuro takes them on the underground pathway all the way up to when they would reach the surface, to where Rukia should be, as he points to the tower. Ganju and Hanatsuro then notice the serious expressions of Ichigo and Naruto. Hey Naruto. Yeah, what is it? Let me have this fight alone. Sure thing. Naruto then sits down, beginning to meditate, while Ichigo fights Renji. He enters the realm of his Zanpakuto. It was in a jungle, with black and white flowers in every area. Don't tell me you've come to fight both of us, Naruto. Naruto turns around to see a black and a white-haired man. No, I've come to actually ask you both some questions. The two men seemed shocked, but they allowed this to happen. By the time Ichigo's fight was over, Naruto awakened. They take the body of Ichigo somewhere else, to where it could be hidden, as Naruto does the best he can to deal with the injuries, but Naruto just heals him further with its own abilities. They go out the next day, and Ichigo wonders why Naruto seemed a little off. Hey Ichigo, you think you'll be able to make it to Rukia on your own from here? Yeah, I know I will, because I have to. And I'm going out to fight that captain. What captain? The one that Chad is facing right now. I'll make sure he doesn't die. Ichigo thanks Naruto just before he vanished. And he was gone in an instant, leaving no trace. As Chad laid on the ground, Naruto arrived. Oh? What is this? A new fighter has arrived, the captain would say? Wait a minute. You're the boy that's been reported to defeat one of the 13 captains, aren't you? Chad then looks at Naruto. You was able to defeat one of those guys? Naruto, you're stronger than I thought. Yeah, I beat one of them. He was strong, but not that strong. Is that so? Well, why don't we introduce ourselves? Sorry, but that can wait. Naruto creates clones that carry Chad away and go to heal him. I see. So you do care about your comrades. If you don't mind me asking, why are you and your friends here? I thought that was obvious. I've come to save that girl from being killed, as she's truly done nothing wrong. That may be against your rules, but I believe those rules are stupid. I can't let you save her. I know, but I also have another goal. To beat the captains and become one myself. As Naruto says this, his spiritual pressure increases. Oh my. You are a very scary child indeed. My name is Shunsui Koryaku, and I'm a captain myself. Really? You don't look like it. What is that supposed to mean, kid? Nothing. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. You may know my father, as his name is Minato. Hearing that name brought back many pleasant memories. So, you're his son. It makes sense why you're so damn strong. The captain vanishes, but Naruto blocks a strike without even looking. At least you're not as slow as the last one. While this was going on, Ichigo began his own battle against Kenpachi Zaraki. Naruto dodges each strike from the captain and even manages to counter a few of them. Naruto slices the captain's shoulder open and dodges another attack, kicking his chin. This brought the captain to his knee. He looked forward, seeing that Naruto was gone, and he turned his eye. Well, he looked behind him to see that the katana was at his neck. Kids these days sure are impatient. I think I should take you a little more seriously since you've proven yourself. Katen Kyotsu. Naruto flips away, watching the blades transform. Alright, Naruto. From this point on, you'll have to become serious as well if you ever hope to defeat me. Shunsui is then shocked while looking at Naruto. I thought his spiritual energy was at its limits, but it seems to be increasing as this fight goes on. A flame-like aura then surrounds Naruto as he opens his eyes, as they are now red. It's been a while since I've wanted to win a fight this bad, as I can tell you're strong. Captain Shunsui is stunned for a moment because of this unknown power being used against him. Naruto appears right in front of him swinging his blade, but he's able to block. He cuts Naruto across his chest, however Naruto does the same to his other shoulder. Each time that Naruto is struck, he strikes his opponent back. Shunsui then backs up after another exchange of blows and looks towards Naruto. Wait, that can't be possible. His injuries, where are they? Naruto smirks and appears behind him, cutting his back. As Shunsui turns, swinging his blade, Naruto vanishes again, and this time he gives a cut to his side. He's brought back to one knee with these deep wounds, and then Naruto senses what's going on within Ichigo's battle. Well, that can't be helped right now, as I'm too far away. Naruto turns back to see the captain standing up with the help of his vice captain. You know you don't have to do this. It's my fault I'm so injured because I took him so lightly. Hey kid, do you really intend on saving that girl? Yes. Even if it costs me my life, I will save her. Well then, good luck. The man turns around with the help of his vice captain and begins to walk away. Naruto walks to him as he grabs the man and lies him down. The woman then puts a blade to his neck and watches on, wondering what Naruto's doing. But then she sees the glowing light coming off of his hands. As she looks at the injuries of her captain, they see that he's healed. Naruto then stands up, walking away, and Shunsui asked him why he did that. I can't have someone so important die from just simple injuries, as I'm sure you have your own thoughts on this situation. But hey Captain, I want you to tell me something. If the rules in this society ever put that woman next to you in danger? Would you break those rules? In a heartbeat, kid. Then you have to understand. It's the same for me and my friends. That's why we were able to become stronger after each fight with one goal in mind. You can sense it for yourself. This is when Shunsui realizes that Kenpachi Zaraki has been defeated. That's impossible. You've seen it for yourself. But as I am now in this form, I couldn't have defeated you or killed you. I would have actually had to release my Bonkai. Shansui's eyes widened at this statement, asking Naruto if he truly had his own Bonkai. You're a little too laid back to be a captain. Did you not notice that my blade remained in its dormant state throughout our whole fight? Although, I can tell that you were holding back, but I guess you have your own reasoning for that. This is when many guards would appear and attack Naruto. With one swing of his blade, he cuts down all of them and waves to Shunsui before leaving. By this time, Ganju and Hanataro made it to Rukia, as this is when they felt that someone strong was coming. They turned around to see Captain Kuchiki standing right there. Before they could make a move, Naruto appeared to help them. It's you again. Well now, I don't think that's how you should greet me, as we've met on the battlefield twice now. Now, let's finish our fight from last time. I don't have time for your childish games. Senbon, Zankura. Naruto pulls out his blade smiling. All of you, stay behind me. Naruto begins to swing his blade, blocking most of the attacks coming his way. Some of the blades still managed to cut him, however he seemed to be fine, which was a complete shock to all of them. Guess what, Captain? I've been storing a lot of energy ever since I arrived at this place, and I think I'm ready to release it. This is when it's revealed that ever since, they've made it to the Soul Society, Naruto has had a clone, gathering spiritual and nature energy to create a brand new type of Sage Mode infused with the power of a Shinigami. Naruto enters this form and instantly his spiritual pressure rises to an unrecognizable amount. Even Byakuya was taken back by this. He flash steps forward towards Naruto, but his blade is blocked by the hand of Naruto. This battle will no longer end in your victory. Naruto cuts the captain across his chest, drawing blood. As Byakuya was about to use his Bonkai, a white-haired man appeared to stop him. I'm not sure you should do that in this area. Think about the destruction. I don't need your advice. Plus, this child needs to be killed. If we let him live, he'll become even stronger and a bigger threat to the Soul Society. He's already defeated 2 captains, and I will certainly not be the third. As they continued, they felt another power coming. This is when Ichigo arrives on the bridge, and Naruto smirks as the two would high-five. Don't tell me you're gonna try to help me fight like that. Sit back for a little and let my clone heal you first. Naruto steps up, but before he could start the battle, Yoruichi arrived as she knocked out Ichigo and got rid of Naruto's clone, and yells out for Naruto to create a distraction, as she then starts to run away with Ichigo. Naruto then creates hundreds of clones that swarm the 2 captains, causing them to defend, as he follows Yoruichi, where they would end up underground after Ichigo wakes up. We don't have much time, but you two need to master your Bonkai for the upcoming battle. I brought Naruto here to explain it to you, Ichigo. Naruto walks forward to him. I know you're angry that we couldn't save her, but you'd rather save her when you're stronger and can completely defend yourself. Ichigo, you simply won't understand the true power of a Bonkai until you see one for yourself. Naruto then shows off his own to Ichigo, and this brought him to the ground because of the spiritual pressure coming off of it. Naruto wasn't recognizable in this form. As he releases the power, he tells the basics to Ichigo and explains the feeling to him. This is when he says one last thing, Ichigo. I'll allow you to fight Captain Byakuya, but You have to win. And I'll make sure that no one interferes with your battle. Both of them smile as their training then begins. We skip to the day of Rukia's execution, where the bird of flames is about to kill her. A blinding light shines down on the area, and Rukia opens her eyes to see two people. Looks like we made it just in time, Ichigo. Yeah, we're here to save you, Rukia. All the captains on the ground then stand in shock, seeing both of them. How could he stop the destructive power of a million Zanpakuto with just his bare hand? Naruto looks at the bird and then throws it back while smiling. Ichigo, this one's mine. Kuroi Kitsune. Rukia sees the scythe and wonders what Naruto was about to do, but he jumps off of the pillars and swings at the bird, absorbing some of its power. This is when Captain Shunsui uses a device to get rid of the bird. And now is where true chaos begins to happen, as Ichigo during this time gives Rukia to Renji by throwing her. 3 lieutenants then try to chase after them, but Naruto blocks their path and defeats them with ease. He sees the captains just standing there and yells at them, "Give me a battle worth dying to have." As one of the captains go to step up, they are stopped by old man Yamamoto. Naruto smirks. "Follow me then, old man." Naruto vanishes and goes to a different area, as some of the captains and remaining lieutenants would hope that the kid at least comes back with some of his limbs. When Naruto makes it to the area, the old man would appear as well, smiling. "You are very young, yet you seem to be quite strong. I've heard many stories of you defeating some of the captains. However, none of that matters, as you are now facing the captain of the 1st Division. My name is Yamamoto." The old man then throws off his clothes, revealing his toned body, and he reveals his blade that was stored in his cane. Naruto bows, shocking the man. "In this moment, I will fight not only for myself, but for my father, Minato's memory." While this was going on, Ichigo gave a similar speech to Byakuya, and at the same time the two would exclaim to their respective opponents, "I cannot afford to lose here." Naruto then felt the immense heat coming from the old man. Soon the flames rose into the skies, and all the captains and lieutenants there could feel their Squad 1 captain getting serious. This in return caused them to get serious in the battles that they were participating in. Yamamoto vanished from Naruto's sight and appeared behind him, swinging his Zanpakuto, and flames would come off of it. Naruto ducked under the flames, jumping backwards. He created 2 other clones and smiled. The 3 forms of Naruto, well, they would form a Rasen Shuriken and throw it towards the old man. As the fatal attack gets closer, Yamamoto could only grin. "I enjoy your charisma and your confidence, young man, but that won't nearly be enough." He swings his blade and cuts the attack clean, cutting it in half, as the 2 halves then fly behind him, causing destruction. Naruto appears in front of the old man, trying to swing his blade down, but it was blocked. The boy then continues to swing his blade, but Yamamoto is no pushover. As he's able to block each of these attacks, Naruto couldn't figure out what to do, as he would jump away once again, dodging the flames, and then he stands straight up. "I guess you really are the strongest, but let's see how you do against me when I'm fighting you on an even playing field. Devour them all, Kuroi Kitsune." The blade is then stabbed into the ground, and a dark Ryatsu covers the entire area, including Naruto and the blade, until this dark aura is absorbed. The scythe is then revealed as Naruto will begin smiling and laughing. "Hey, old man, let's make a deal. If I beat you here, then I get to join the first division. The rest of the captains are too weak for me to want to follow them. But you're different. The old man starts to laugh while thinking to himself. But then, he decides to employ the boy. I enjoy this enthusiasm that you have. This youth is different than what we have around here. So, if you are somehow able to defeat me, I'll let you become part of the first division. It is my promise as the captain. As he said this, Naruto appeared, cutting him across his chest, drawing blood. He looked up at Yamamoto, who stared down at him, and he saw his red eyes. From here on out, I'm fighting with everything I've got and everything I've learned. Naruto jumps back using hand signs, creating pillars of earth, and also creates clones. These clones were amped with the power of his tailed beast, causing them to get stronger. The captain then has to twist and turn his body, cutting through each one of them. Naruto appears to his opponent, landing a Rasengan to his chest, sending him flying into one of the earth pillars. When the dust settled, Yamamoto was perfectly fine, causing Naruto to sigh. Naruto thought for a moment before continuing the battle, but as he was about to strike Yamamoto again, a message was relayed by one of the other captains that told everyone about Captain Aizen and what he had done. Naruto then vanished from the battlefield, realizing what this meant, and as Renji was about to be struck down by Aizen, Naruto and Ichigo appeared to block the blade. Aizen jumps back and smiles. Oh well, if it isn't Naruto Uzumaki, son of Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village. Naruto gets angry upon hearing this. How the hell do you know that? It's simple. I'm the one who messed up your father's transport to the human world. Naruto gets angered upon hearing this, and he would ask Ichigo to stay back for just a moment. Ichigo nodded as he was injured, and this gave him time to rest. Renji called Naruto crazy for going at this battle alone, but Naruto didn't respond to him. He instead yelled towards his new opponent, Bonkai! A darkness surrounds Naruto, and no one is even able to see him as he's covered by it. Naruto then steps from the shadows as his hair is now jet black, along with his scythe. Your name was Aizen, right? The one and only. I don't have much time in this form, so I'll make this quick. Is that so? I don't believe... Aizen is then cut across his chest in multiple places as he saw Naruto, who now stood behind him. Oh, I see. A very powerful ability indeed. The stronger your opponent, the stronger the ability will work. Naruto appears in front of Aizen again, but this time the attack is blocked. Naruto then kicks him back, and then he launches himself towards Aizen once again. Rukia, Renji, and Ichigo couldn't even keep up with the speed at which they were fighting at. Ichigo would stand up. Let's go. Naruto will win this battle. Renji then shouts at him. How can you be so sure? Because he hasn't even shown his Bonkai's trump card yet, and Aizen is already being pushed back. They look back to see Naruto landing direct hits with almost every slash. Gin tries to catch Naruto off guard, but as soon as Naruto sees that he's close enough, he cuts Gin's shoulder wide open. Rukia and Renji's jaws drop because the blade didn't even make contact. Ichigo then explains, Naruto showed me this power not too long ago. If I'm being honest, it's pretty scary. He explained it to me, that if he were to ever turn evil, there was a way I could defeat him. The ability that he's using now is Shadow Fang. That scythe is able to cut any shadow that it comes into contact with, and that damage is linked to the person who owns the shadow. Aizen then jumps back at Naruto, thinking he was caught off guard, but he is cut as well. What an interesting Bonkai ability. I wonder how long something this powerful will last you though. Aizen and Naruto go back and forth until Naruto begins to slow down. This is when Aizen rushes in and tries to finish him off. Without even thinking, Naruto releases the Ryatsu he had stolen from fighting the First Division captain. Its appearance then became a wall of flames that protected him in the last moment. After this, Byakuya and Kamamura arrived to the battlefield to assist Naruto. They both looked back at the boy as he was barely standing while maintaining his Bonkai at this point. And by this time, a hole ripped into the sky as Minos Grande and other hollows began to appear. A beaming light shines down upon Aizen, Tozen, and Gin. Naruto sends out his clones to try and attack them and also help the injured, but he wasn't able to do anything as he would just fall to the ground and his clones would just poof, going away. Naruto then slams his hands on the ground, causing them to bleed, as everyone would sit in silence for a moment. Eventually, many medical Shinigami would try and help the people who were injured, and Naruto would still be in the same spot, angered by not being able to defeat the one who basically killed his father. As Naruto sat in anger, tears began to roll down his face as he failed. He truly failed, and he didn't know when he'd get another chance to avenge his father. All the captains and lieutenants would notice this, but they would have nothing to say to him. This is when they all watch as Captain Yamamoto walks up to the boy and puts his hand out. I saw you were able to harness my flames in a moment of weakness. And you have quite the enthusiasm for someone so strong and someone so young. I believe you are too valuable to let return to the mortal world just so soon. From this day forth, you, Naruto Uzumaki, will be a part of my division. Do any of the captains or lieutenants here have any objections to my selfish decisions? All would stay silent. And a couple days later, the group returns to the human world, and Naruto goes with them surprisingly. Ichigo questioned how he was able to do so, and Naruto explains that the old man is letting him watch over this district since Rukia remains in the Soul Society. The following days, Naruto, he trains by himself and doesn't show up to school. After a week of not showing up, Ichigo went to Urahara's shop. He's taken down to the basement to see Naruto. Ichigo then sees him, but he also notices that Naruto is completely covered in blood and barely able to stand. But he saw it. The blade that Naruto was holding was different. It was a white blade with an orange and yellow handle. Urahara, who the hell is he fighting that could be this strong? Before an answer could be spoken, Ichigo felt the spiritual pressure of someone much stronger than Naruto when he transformed into his Bonkai state. The man with white and red hair began laughing while slowly walking towards Naruto. Time and time again, Naruto. You never learn, do you? You swear that you would learn how to use me, but yet you've made no progress. The man then vanishes from their sight and grabs Naruto by the head, punching him in the stomach over and over until Naruto drops the blade. The white katana is then stabbed through his chest. Ichigo runs over to see that Naruto was unconscious while the blade was still inside of him. Urahara pulls out the blade and sees that the wound heals itself. After a couple of seconds, Naruto wakes up, taking the blade from Urahara. You've been at this for the last 3 days. Take a break, Naruto. No, I have to beat him. Why are you so fixated on this? I have to get the power to defeat Aizen. Don't you understand me, uncle? Aizen is the reason why my father is dead. Ichigo then grabs his wrist, telling him to calm down. Naruto looks into the eyes of Ichigo and puts him under a genjutsu. Ichigo walks around in a mysterious room. Where the hell am I? He then steps through a door, and as he steps through, he goes through Naruto's memories up until this point. He sees the terrible childhood that Naruto had to live, which was very opposite of what he had, as he always had a loving family. When Ichigo returned from the genjutsu, he was crying without even realizing it. He then looks up to see Naruto fighting the white-haired man again and losing. It's all the same to you, isn't it, Naruto? The white-haired man appears behind him, but this time, his hand is caught. Oh? What's this? Naruto turns with a blank expression, headbutting the white-haired man. You mongrel! Naruto then kicks him in his side, and, with this opening, he says, I'm tired of being your damn punching bag. He then slices the man's chest open, as he was still caught off guard, and the blinding light covers the area. Ichigo and Urahara wonder what's happening. As the light begins to fade away, both of them feel a tremendous power beyond what they thought was possible. Naruto was now standing there, with white and red hair, flames swirling around his body. Not only just his body though. Above his head was a crown of flames. He opened his eyes, revealing that they were now yellow. Naruto grabs his blade from its hilt and holds it tight. He raises it into the sky and swings it down as flames come off of it, and he slams the blade into the ground, and the ground in front of him would split for a long distance. Urahara would sigh. It all makes sense now. What are you talking about? Think about it, Ichigo. The old man from the first division. Naruto was able to replicate his flames by absorbing them first. He allowed Naruto to join his squadron because of that very reason. Ichigo then looks at Naruto, who was standing still. Wait, does that mean? Yeah. It means that old man sees Naruto as a potential successor. Naruto's hair begins to fade back to yellow, as his outfit would go back to black. Ichigo runs over to congratulate him, then he realizes it. Wait, this idiot's asleep. Naruto wakes up and sees Urahara and Yoruichi. What time is it? It's morning now, Naruto. Damn it. I'm already late for school. Are you seriously gonna keep going to the human school? Yeah, I mean, I have nothing better to do. And it's easier to stay in contact with Ichigo that way. Naruto gets up and goes to school. When he walks into the classroom, he senses something was off. The day goes on as usual, and at night, Ichigo and Naruto go out to fight the Hollows. This is when they are confronted by Shinji, Ichigo Kurosaki, and Naruto Uzumaki, two Soul Reapers who are blinded by their true potential. Ichigo, look. Naruto then points as both of them turn to see the Hollows ripping into the town. Ichigo, you handle him. I'll go stop the Hollows. Naruto tries to run by, but Shinji then reveals his hollow mask, shocking the two of them. During this time, Ichigo's friends and Kon inside of Ichigo's body. Naruto would get angry. I don't have time to just sit here. He rushes Shinji, swinging his blade. As Shinji goes to block, a clone of Naruto hits him with the Rasengan. Naruto then creates more clones that scatter throughout the city, taking care of each hollow. Ichigo's dad is still the one to kill Grand Fisher, and Uryu is still saved by his own father. As Naruto confirms that the hollows are finished off, he turns back to Shinji to ask more questions about that mask. You know, Naruto, your own father had the same mask. I wonder if it was passed down to you. Naruto, hearing this, created more clones to distract Shinji as he ran away with Ichigo. Hey Naruto, Why did we run? Because we need our own answers to that power first. Naruto jumps off a rooftop to the streets below, to Urahara and Ichigo's father. At the same time, the captains within the Sarate have a meeting to discuss how they will move forward from this point on and deal with Aizen. The next day, Naruto and Ichigo sit in class wondering about what Shinji had told them about being a visored. However, Naruto was concerned as he already knew what this power was. He thinks back to what his father told him about his past and how it could affect his future. This may be one of the things that he was talking about, but who knows? Naruto then went into deep thought into his moments of despair within his life, where he potentially could have hollowified. However, in all of these moments, all he could think of that interacted with him was Kurama, not an inner hollow. As Naruto thought more about it, he then realized some of the powers within his body. First, he had his Shinigami powers passed on by his father, as well as the tail beast that was sealed inside of him. Next, he had the chakra of the Uzumaki clan from his mother. But it seemed he had one more power to discover, the power of his own hollow. Naruto's thoughts would be broken by the shout of Shinji. Ichigo and Naruto stand up, dragging him to the roof. Answer me right now. What do you want with me and Ichigo? And why do you want us to join that damn group? You really are fools. Once the power of a hollow appears within you, you can no longer go back to being a regular Soul Reaper. Without even knowing it, you both have used that power unconsciously in your time of need. You two are already on my side. You just don't believe it. At the same time, Ichigo and Naruto remember the times where they could have used this power. But Naruto runs away, heading to Urahara's shop with blinding speeds. He opens the door and sits down in front of his uncle. He explains again how Kurama was sealed inside of him at birth, as he would then ask a question. Can hollows merge with entities that are purely energy? Urahara grabs his hat and sighs. Yeah, it's possible, but I've never seen a case like that. But why would it matter to you? Wait. Come with me, Naruto. Urahara stands up, taking Naruto down into the basement. Show me the power of the Nine Tails once again. Naruto calms his mind, using a one-tailed state. The energy that flowed from his body was natural, and didn't give off any signs of hollowification. He told Naruto to stop and said that it must be a false alarm. Naruto nodded but decided to stay in the basement. He decided to talk to Kurama himself. He enters his domain of the tail beast and sits down. Do you remember when you were sealed inside of me? Of course I do, you brat. One of the worst nights of my long life. Hey. Anyway, do you remember anything combining with your chakra as you were sealed into me? Kurama thinks about it for a moment, and now that Naruto brought it up, he could slightly remember something more evil being present and storing itself within his soul. Naruto wonders if this is what his father left him, but there was only one way to make sure. Over at the school, Shinji was confronted by Hiyori about their recruitment mission. At the same time, Uryu was making a vow to his father not to get involved with Soul Reapers anymore. Within the Soul Society, in the communication facility, they picked up something crazy in this moment. A Khan walked into the room, looking at the screens. Get me through to Naruto Uzumaki from the 1st Division. He should be stationed there. Naruto's phone began to ring as he answered it. Naruto Uzumaki. There are 2 very strong Arankar near the town. Do your best to defeat them. Learn as much as you can about the enemy. Hurry before they make it into the town. Oh, that's who these guys are? Affiliation with Aizen. I should have guessed it. Akane was confused by what Naruto meant. When we look at Naruto, he's standing right in front of the enemies with Ichigo. He hangs up the phone saying he'll handle it with the substitute Soul Reaper, Ichigo Kurosaki. Alright Ichigo, which one of these punks do you want? I'll take the smaller one. You can have the one with the dumb face. The bigger man in white punches down at Naruto, who grabs his hand. I know an old woman who punches harder than you. Naruto then kicks him back and uses his clones to escort the civilians away from the area. Naruto, well, continues to fight the bigger one, not following the plan at all. During this time, Chad and Orihime arrived to help as well. Ichigo had already released his Bonkai, but his opponent saw this as no threat, dodging each attack. Ichigo was then cut across his chest because of the voices in his mind distracting him. He didn't want to release too much power in fear of hollowification. Naruto then looked over to see Ichigo coughing up blood while his opponent stood over him, stomping on his chest. Seeing this torture angered Naruto to use the power of the Nine Tails. However, this time was different. Naruto kicked the figure in white off of Ichigo as he now stood over his friend. When the enemy tried to hit Naruto, his arm would be cut off. This is when Naruto turned his face as Ichigo now saw the white and orange fox mask. As he looked at it, he thought back to the times that a mask like this appeared on his very own face. Before Naruto could run in to attack the enemy, the mask was broken by Urahara and Yoruichi, who arrived just in time. Naruto would fall to the ground unconscious after having his mask broken. When he woke up, he stood in front of a black and white fox now. So, you're finally showing me your true form. You're the hollow that's inside of me, aren't you? The fox nodded. Where's Kurama then? It's funny you ask, because I am Kurama. Naruto steps back, not believing the fox, but he goes on as he keeps speaking. Don't be afraid now. After all, we've been friends and partners for a long time, Naruto. I've been with you since before you were born. Think of all the times that we've worked together to defeat those in our way. This time is no different. After all, you should know that you are different from those around you. So, devour all of those in your path, Naruto. On the outside, the attackers will retreat, but Naruto's mask reappears on his face. The yellow-haired teen stands up, creating a clone that would smash the mask into pieces by punching his face. Naruto then grabs his throat, breathing once again on his own. What the hell was that? The next day, Naruto and Ichigo were sort of depressed at school. Sure, no one was hurt, but neither of them were strong enough to defeat their opponents on their own. If they come back, everyone they care about will die. As they sat and thought this in the classroom, wondering what they were going to do, 4 people entered the room. Naruto Uzumaki and Ichigo Kurosaki. Well, both of them turned to see the Soul Reapers from the Soul Society. Naruto kneels. Captain Hitsugaya, what brings you here? I heard about your battle, and it seems you lost. I did, and that's my mistake. I believed the enemies would be beatable at my current level, but they weren't. Don't worry about it. Just get stronger. Naruto and Ichigo turn to see Rukia. Rukia takes Ichigo away while Naruto is taken to the roof by Captain Hitsugaya. You have a message from your captain. The message then displays itself, and it's Captain Yamamoto. Oh, what's up, Gramps? Sorry I lost. Address me by Captain, young man. Sorry about it, Gramps. Anyway, Naruto, continue to stay in this town, because we never know when the enemies may pop up again.
Help Ichigo and keep training him to defeat the Hollows. He is very vital to the upcoming battles. Learn as much as you can about the enemy and report back to us when you can. Naruto nods and Toshiro gets rid of the call. Hey Naruto, why are you so close with the 1st Division captain? I guess it's because my father, well, the old man kinda raised him and my uncle since they were orphans. The captain nods and goes back down into the classroom. Naruto looks off and he would leave the school as well. On the other side of town, he goes into an old building and shuts the door behind him, looking at all the people who stared down at him. Hey Shinji, is that offer still on the table? Before Shinji could speak, Hayori jumped down looking at Naruto. There's no point in teaching a spoiled Soul Reaper brat like you anything. Naruto looks at her and smiles. Why don't I prove myself to you then? Hayori takes out her blade and her mask, transforming using hollowification. If you don't transform in this battle, then you'll die. Naruto thinks back to the moment where Ichigo died and uses that as his catalyst once again, or where Ichigo almost died. He lets out a primal roar and transforms, but this time it was different. Naruto's hollow mask was connected to a bone-like spine that ran down his back, and it formed 9 bone tails. Naruto stood on all fours, rushing at Hayori. He vanished from sight, appearing behind her and slashing her back with his claws. Before he could do any more, the rest of the group then pinned him down and broke his mask, releasing the transformation. Hayori looked down at Naruto, calling him a monster, and Shinji tells him that his training begins now. A couple days go by as no one has seen Naruto. One night, more Arrancar appear in the town and begin to hunt down all the Soul Reapers there and fight the lieutenants and captains. Chad was running through the street when he sensed one of them. They're just too slow. The Arrancar goes to strike Chad down, but Naruto appears, grabbing his hand. Hey Chad, go help the others. Alright. As Chad runs in the other direction, the Arrancar begins to laugh. I think you had a better chance to win if you teamed up with him. Naruto looks down and says, I don't have time for weaklings like you, as he then cuts him in half vertically, killing him before sheathing his blade. The blonde then turns to see Rukia standing there. Where have you been, Naruto? I've been training so we can beat the enemy. This guy was just an underling. Leave the main boss of this attack to me, as I know Aizen isn't here. Oh, then you must be looking for me. Naruto and Rukia turn their heads to the sky to see a blue-haired Arrancar. Arrancar number 6, Grimmjow. 1st Division member Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto walks closer to Grimmjow, and the two stare at each other face to face. You're just some punk kid. Aizen isn't even worried about you. Are you sure you can be a worthy opponent? From where I stand, you're the one who isn't worth my time. I'm going to defeat Aizen for what he did to my father. It looks like you're standing in my way, so I'll get rid of you first. Grimmjow punches Naruto in the face, but he doesn't move at all. Naruto then kicks him in the side, but he wouldn't budge either. The two then go back and forth, trading physical attacks that send shockwaves throughout the town. Eventually, Ichigo arrives to see what was going on, and he sees Naruto fighting without even using his Zanpakuto. The two step back from one another, as they both have sinister smiles on their face. You're not half bad, Naruto, but this isn't even close to my full power. Naruto smirks, pulling out his Zanpakuto and releasing a Shikai. Is that all? If you think you'll be able to beat one of the Espada like that, then you're wrong. Naruto continues to smile, holding his blade tight before being covered in darkness. The spiritual pressure coming from his body was no longer that of a Soul Reaper. No. To Grimmjow felt just like another Espada. When the transformation was complete, we see Naruto in his hollowified form. The fox mask was now on his face, as well as the 9 bone tails coming from his spine. Grimmjow goes to move, but then he has a hand through his chest as he looks at Naruto's mask and feels true fear. Is he stronger than me? One of the Espada? Naruto rips out his arm, punching Grimmjow in the face, as he then dodges another punch from him. As he ducks under this punch, the 9 bone tails stab into Grimmjow's arms and legs. At the same time, the captains and lieutenants were just barely able to finish off their own fights. And they sensed this monstrous spiritual pressure. As Grimmjow now laid on the ground, bleeding out, Naruto stood over him. The bone tails raised into the air, pointing down at him, preparing a Sero blast. Suddenly, Naruto flipped away onto a rooftop, sitting on all fours, as he looked down at Tozen. Tozen turned to Naruto, sensing his new power. Naruto Uzumaki, your power, it's grown. You'd be quite useful in the Espada. Your power is it's actually equal to the 4th Espada. That is, if you're still hiding your true power, because it seems you're holding back on someone who is weaker than you. This causes Grimmjow to get angry, cursing Naruto. And as he was continued to be dragged by Tozen, he yelled out, "The next time we meet, Naruto Uzumaki, I'll make sure to kill you." Naruto watches as they leave and stands there in his transformation. Ichigo looked at him, remembering what was told to him by Shinji. Could he really obtain this power himself by going to him? Naruto takes off the mask, and then the bone tails vanish as well. Espada, huh? I'll make sure to take you guys down before I take down Aizen. Over in Hueco Mundo, we see the Espada gathering, and they begin their meeting with Aizen present as well. He sits back in his chair with a smile. Naruto Uzumaki, maybe you're more interesting than I originally thought. We went back to Naruto, who was still standing while looking at his hands. Ichigo walks over to him. How did you obtain this power? Naruto then turns to him, looking him dead in his eyes. You want to protect your friends, don't you, Ichigo? What? This question caught him off guard. You want the power to save them, do you not? There's only one way to do so. You have to master everything that was ever passed down to you. Ichigo steps back for a moment, looking at Naruto, but then remembering how fierce the power that he used was. As he thinks about how strong the Espada are and his current strength in comparison, he knew what he had to do. Okay, Naruto, I'm in. Naruto then holds his shoulder as the two would vanish, and the next day, they walk into the abandoned compartment to greet Shinji and the rest of the visored group. Shinji would then begin their training, but Naruto himself steps in. Ichigo, make sure you don't resist this part. He nods as he's then put under a genjutsu. What the hell? Ichigo, help me. He turns his head to see Orihime about to be killed by the Espada that defeated him before. He feels powerless once again. No, Orihime. This is when Ichigo's inner hollow begins to talk to him. And this is when he awakened in his hollowed state. He screams out a monstrous roar as his mask then appeared. Naruto smiles, telling the rest of them to get back as he would transform as well. And the barriers put around the two of them. Ichigo then jumps, swinging his blade, but is blocked by Naruto's tail. He then uses another tail to slash at Ichigo's chest, but he flips away. Don't run now, Ichigo. Face me head on. Days go by, of Naruto and Ichigo being gone, and one day, Orihime interrupts their training. At the same time, Uryu was still training with his father, and Chad as well as Renji were training with Urahara. Toshiro and his vice captain then receive a call from Captain Yamamoto, who then tells them Aizen's true objective. But he also decides to ask where Naruto was at this time, as he hasn't contacted the Soul Society in days. Toshiro then relays the information that Naruto seems to have gone missing. He knows that he's in the city, but he doesn't know where. And the only thing that's known about him is the last thing that Rukia had told him. Rukia stated that Naruto was able to kill almost 2 of the Espada, but as of now, it seems he's taken the liberty of training Ichigo Kurosaki so that he'll be able to do the same and be able to fight against Aizen alongside Naruto. Yamamoto understands this, as he then just says he'll wait until Naruto contacts him. Weeks go by, until one of the Espada comes back into the human world, but the captains and lieutenant are ready for them. The battle begins, and Toshiro yells out, wondering where Naruto was at this moment. As he continues to fight against one of the Espada, Naruto arrives. Quit complaining, Captain Toshiro. You know I couldn't miss a battle like this. Grimmjow then sees Naruto rushing in, but he's slammed back to the ground by Ichigo. Hey Naruto, I'll handle him. That's fine with me. Just take him seriously and take him down. Ichigo nods as he rushes back down at Grimmjow. The woman who was there releases her own Zanpakuto, or Shikai, that creates 8 arms. She launches them towards Toshiro, who wasn't ready, but all of them are deflected by Naruto, who uses incredible speed. 8 arms, huh? Yes, impressive, isn't it? 8 is a nice number, but you know what's better? She looks on in confusion until she realizes that this is the guy that Aizen was warning them about. Naruto transforms, releasing the 9 visored tails along with the mask. She scoffs, and she sends the 8 extensions back at Naruto, but he flash steps behind her, and as she looks down to her side, she sees that she's been completely cut open, and she was leaking a lot of blood. She then tried again, but Naruto used all the tails to block each one of her attacks, and then appeared in front of her, slamming his fist into her face that sent her higher into the sky. What the hell is he? He's stronger, and not only that, faster than me. She looks down at Naruto, who does some strange hand signs, as 5 other versions of himself then appear, all of them rushing at the woman, completely demolishing her in this battle. Naruto was so far ahead in strength that his punches and strikes eventually caused her Shikai to go back into its dormant state. Naruto looked over at Ichigo to see that his battle was going, well, good as well. So he focused on his weakened opponent. She coughs up blood while lying on the ground looking up at Naruto. Don't tell me you're soft like those other Soul Reapers and you're gonna spare me. Naruto looks down and performs a 9-tailed Zero Blast. This creates a huge explosion. The effect was shockwaves, and a crater was left as a result. Naruto jumps back into the air and sees that Ichigo's mask was now broken. Before Grimmjow could get the upper hand in this battle, Naruto blocked his blade with his hand. Damn it! Not you again. Great work, Ichigo, but you're not quite there yet. Naruto releases his visor transformation and yells out, "Kuroi Kitsune!" Grimmjow then jumps back, looking at the scythe as it appears. What the hell is that? As he stares at the black and blue weapon, he gets a bad feeling. Far away from this battle, Orihime was being captured by force and could do nothing about it. Before Naruto could step in to continue the fight, some weird kid walked up behind Grimmjow. "Hey, what the hell are you doing? This is my battle." "Well, it looks like you're losing. Have you seen a pretty dragonfly anywhere?" "No, I haven't, so stay out of my way, brat." As Grimmjow says this, the blade was then used to cut across his chest, and so was a kid. Ichigo's jaw dropped once he realized what had happened. Rukia then arrives and asks what was going on, as she then saw Ichigo just sitting there watching. He's on a completely different level than all of us. Rukia wondered what he was talking about, until she then felt it. This extraordinary spiritual pressure. As she then looked over to see the espada on the ground while bleeding out, while Naruto stood there over him with only dirt on his clothes. As Naruto was about to finish him off, his blade was then blocked by the blade of Ulquiorra Cypher, one of the espada. The two go back and forth, clashing blades as equals, before this new espada jumps back, looking at Grimmjow and the other defeated espada, or a Rancor. The mission has been completed. We're extracting now. A beam of light then shines down on all the remaining espada as they're transported back to Hueco Mundo. Naruto tries to cut down the espada in front of him, but he isn't able to, and he's angered by this. After calming himself down, he then looks back at Ichigo, who had some injuries, as he creates some clones that go to heal all the Soul Reapers in the area. The next day, Ichigo and Naruto are brought back together by Captain Toshiro, who has something very important to tell them. This is where the two of them learn about Orihime and her opposed betrayal, but both of them know what they need to do. At night, Ichigo arrives to Urahara's shop. "It's about damn time you made it here." Naruto looks at Ichigo, who has a very serious expression. "You want to save her, don't you?" "Yeah, more than anything. So let's go." "Good, because we don't have any time to waste." They go down into the basement, where Chad and Uryu reveal themselves. Urahara would also reveal himself. "Now that all of us are here, we need to go. Do you all understand the plan?" "Yeah, of course. Save Orihime." "Yeah, that's part of it. But take down as many hollows, a Rancor, or espada as you can." Naruto then looks at his uncle. "I'm going to take down everyone in Hueco Mundo." Ichigo then looks at him. "What are you talking about? Are you crazy?" "I'm not. As of now, I feel like I can take down Aizen himself. I'm confident in my power." Now we go to Hueco Mundo, as Aizen was showing off the powers of Orihime to the rest of the espada. They all felt a new spiritual pressure. Within the halls, Ichigo, Chad, Uryu, well, they kept running as they felt something behind them. This is when they saw a Rancor chasing them down, but they also saw Naruto, who jumped at it and with one swing, cut it down. He lands back on the ground and looks at them. "Let's keep moving." They nod and make it to a larger room where another enemy, or a couple enemies, were waiting. Naruto cuts them down before the group could do anything. The three then look at Naruto, and Ichigo thinks that his strength seems to have no limit, as he's stronger than before. We then see the espada sitting at a table. Aizen looks over at Tozen, who displays the intruders. Just as planned, the rest of the Espada begin to talk down on the group until Aizen interrupts the chatter. Don't take them lightly, especially that of Naruto Uzumaki. His strength has even been recognized by the old man at the Soul Society, and I think as of now, he could rival all of the Espada. If only he were truly on our side. All of them are shocked hearing this and don't believe Aizen at first. Why don't you tell him how you were defeated twice by Naruto, when he wasn't even at his fullest strength? They turn to Grimmjow as that's who Aizen was looking at. He then scoffs, getting up and walking away. Aizen then demands that he sits back down and glares at him. Without thought, he falls to his knees. The group then makes it to the outside of the building, where they will meet Nell and the other Arrancar. As they sat and talked, another large hollow would appear, but it's frozen before it could do anything. They then turn to see Rukia and Renji. The two walk over. As Rukia hits Ichigo, Renji punches Naruto. You two really are idiots not asking for our help before leaving. Naruto walks back over to the wall smiling. Well, since we have everyone here, I don't think we should waste any more time. Naruto's chakra begins to appear, and it's visible. Rukia, Renji, and Ichigo. No, all of them are confused as this is something that isn't Ryatsu, and this isn't spiritual energy. It's something entirely different, but it's very similar. Naruto then punches down the wall, creating a huge hole for them to go in. Everyone then runs down the hall, and they would stop as they see a bunch of different paths to choose from. Naruto looks forward and smiles, creating clones that go down each path with one of them. This way, he can help them out if their opponents are too strong. Naruto then goes down one path completely alone, with no exposures to his stance at all, as he was ready for anything. This is when a Paivaran Espada, these were Espada with 3-digit numbers who've been demoted by their rank, would appear. Naruto looks up, seeing the person standing in front of him, and he scoffs. This caused the Paivaran Espada to speak up. What's that look for? Don't tell me you've given up already. This Arrancar blitzes Naruto and cuts his body in multiple places before standing behind him once again. Not so tough now. Well, at least you've served as a warm-up for me before I go kill the others. This Arrancar turns around to see Naruto standing there with only his clothes being cut. Wait, don't tell me I'm not strong enough to cut through your spiritual energy. Naruto then speaks with a demanding voice. Hey, just this one word alone causes the Arrancar to jump in fear as he gets goosebumps. Naruto then stares at him with a menacing gaze. What was that you said before? It was something about me giving up earlier. You know, you're kind of wrong. Actually, it's the opposite. Since I'm so close to my very goal, I'm more excited than ever. Naruto begins to raise his spiritual energy, causing everyone in the building to feel this pressure. The former Espada in front of Naruto, they began to feel the true terror of facing someone to his caliber, as he then vanished. For someone who was once an Espada, I expected more from you. Naruto then sheathes his blade, as blood shoots out from the chest of his opponent, causing him to fall to the ground. Now then, Aizen, when will you fall to this blade as well? As Ichigo and the others begin their own individual battle, the Naruto clones help them out to the best of their ability, which helps their battles go way better than they originally did. By this time, Ichigo was fighting against Ill-Quit Aura, and he was losing. He had already used all his special moves as well as his transformation. As the dust settles, revealing the Espada to still be fine, Naruto's clone looks at Ichigo and then vanishes. Nell begins to panic, but Ichigo smiles. Ichigo, why are you smiling? This is super bad. No, Nell. This means this fight's about to go in our favor. From the ceiling, Naruto bursts down to the floor that Ichigo was on. What the hell are you doing sitting down like that? We have a battle to win, and you have a friend to save. We fight until we die, but we won't die here, as long as we fight together, Ichigo. Yeah, you're right. I think it's time I start getting serious myself. Ichigo stands back up as both of them then rush at the Espada. Aura dodges the blade of Ichigo since it's weaker, but then he's forced to block the blade of Naruto. This gives Ichigo the perfect opening to finally land a direct hit on him. This attack from Ichigo barely draws any blood from their opponent, but before he could do anything, Naruto kicked him back. Aura recovered quickly, and he went for Ichigo since he was the weaker of the pair. Naruto predicted this and pushed Ichigo out of the way, causing injury to be inflicted on his body. Aura jumps back and pulls out his blade, and calls Naruto weak for this action, but he watches on curiously as the wound closes up. What kind of ability was that? It's similar to Orihime's. Sorry to disappoint you, but my ability isn't nearly as good as her own. However, it still gets the job done, so who can really complain? Aura tries to go for Ichigo again, but Naruto defends his friend, taking heavier damage than the last time. Ichigo regains some of his stamina during this time, allowing him to use his Bonkai once again and jump back into the battle. As the fight was about to continue, someone else then kicks in the wall, bursting into the room. Grimjaw was here as well. Aura then turns to him. What are you doing here? It looks like you need a little help, and I've been waiting to get my hands on these Soul Reapers, so our goals will align perfectly here. Naruto then speaks up. How did you get your arm back? Oh, this? I made that dumb girl do it for me. Naruto then talks lower so only Ichigo can hear him. You know what that means, right? Yeah, she's safe for now. We have to get through them to reach her. That's fine. Ichigo, you take Grimjaw. Right. Both of them then jumps forward towards the Espada, who ready themselves for this battle. Naruto swings his katana, at Aura, who catches it easily. Stop playing around, Naruto Uzumaki. There's no way you can defeat me like this. A Naruto clone then lands a giant Rasengan, sending him flying. Aura gets up through the rubble, disappointed himself because of how he was caught off guard. A Rasen Shuriken is then seen flying at him and he dodges it, but a huge explosion then shakes the entire room. Aura had no idea what these abilities were, as they were not in the report. Naruto knew this, and was using everything that he learned as a shinobi against his opponent. A giant steel shuriken then goes by the face of Aura, who still can't see Naruto. The weapon then turns into Naruto, who swings his blade, cutting his back wide open. Angered by this, Aura turns, grabbing Naruto by the throat and slamming him down into the ground. Naruto then sticks out his tongue, poofing in the smoke, revealing that he was a clone. Aura's eyes widened, realizing what this meant as well, as a huge crash will be heard in their direction, as Naruto flips away, realizing his opponent is stronger than he was before. We see Aura in his black-winged form, staring down at Naruto. Well, I guess I have to increase my own power to keep up with you then. Aura vanished and appeared behind Naruto, stabbing him through his chest, but a log would be left in his place. Naruto quickly releases his Shikai to continue this fight. Aura in this state was ahead of Naruto in every category, as he was pushing the young Soul Reaper back and forcing him into the defensive. Throughout the entire exchange of strikes, all Ilkuora could think about was the fact that Naruto was smiling. He was smirking, enjoying losing. He was toying with him. Could he really be so far ahead of him that he's allowing himself to have fun in this battle? As the two go back and forth landing critical strikes to one another, Ilkuora notices that Naruto's movements have now become sharper than before. He's adapting to the speed with ease. His speed, wait, it shouldn't be increasing that easily. No, that's not it. Ilkuora finally figures out that he's just beginning to move slower. As he realizes this, his arm was cut off by a huge wave of Ryatsu from Naruto. He regrows this arm and decides that Naruto is not only a threat to all of the Espada, but to Aizen himself if he can toy with him this much. Ilkuora releases the second stage of his resurrection, and this spiritual pressure even shakes Ichigo and Grimmjow to their core. Naruto sighs and decides to show off a power that he hadn't got to use yet in combat to its fullest potential. But this could be the fight. Bonkai, Kitsune no Kami. A blinding light sparks the area where Naruto is standing, and it's revealed, his new form is. A crown of flames swirled around his head with grace. His white hair, with orange-reddish tips, flowed through the wind, and his yellow eyes pierced the soul of Ilkuora even in his second stage of resurrection. This is where he also noticed the Zanpakuto of Naruto had reverted to a katana-like state, but it was also similar to the Bonkai of Ichigo Kurosaki in the way that it looked. What is this power? Could he have been hiding this the entire time? This feeling, it's so similar to... Before he could finish his thought, Naruto now stood next to him. You've realized it, haven't you? This power that I'm using right now, it'll be used to defeat Aizen, which means you don't stand a chance. Ilkuora is then grabbed by Naruto and flown to the roof. From this point, Naruto stands on the edge and holds his blade to the sky, creating a ball of flames. Ilkuora prepares himself for this large attack, but it breaks and the sparks fall down below. All the Soul Reapers who were within the area, who were fighting to their heart's content until their final breath, were healed, as well as their spiritual energy getting stronger than before. Ilkuora demands to know what Naruto has just done, but his arm is then ripped off in the blink of an eye as he couldn't see it. He tries to regrow the arm, but he's unable to, as he then looks down to see the flames where his arms just were. Those flames will not go out no matter what you do. Naruto then cuts off his other arm with his katana, and after that, he stabs it into his chest. It's all over now. Judgment flames. Flames then appear around his body that shoot into the sky and burn him to nothing but ash. Naruto looks down and falls to one knee as his hair then reverts to its original color. He begins breathing heavily, but he seems to be okay. Looks like I won't be able to fight like that for a while till my energy is restored. I wonder how everyone else is doing right now. We go down to see a hollified Ichigo defeating Grimmjow in his resurrection form. The only thing that stops him from continuing his destruction was Orihime, who arrived to the battlefield. Naruto makes it here as well, as he congratulates Ichigo for winning his battle. Looks like it was easier than we thought, but Aizen isn't here anymore. As they all sat there, Nell arrived as well. Naruto would stand back up after a couple of minutes and told Ichigo to get ready as well. Orihime didn't even heal either of them, but more Espada and a Rancor would arrive. Both Ichigo and Naruto did their best, but they were completely exhausted at this point, and their movements were incredibly slow. The two were being tortured, which eventually caused Nell to awaken her true form. She's able to hold off the Espada, but her real form then went away as she reverted to a child. A strange creature then appeared and grabbed both Naruto and Ichigo by their heads. Luckily, they'd be saved by Captain Kenpachi, who arrived just in time. You two slackers need to get off your ass and fight until your final breath is drawn. Naruto barely manages to stand back up while hearing this, and, with a swing of his blade, cuts off the arm of the creature. That's more like it. After all, you're in the first division. Kenpachi then finishes off the creature before moving on to the Espada who was waiting. While this battle was beginning, the other captains arrived as well to help in the other battles that were still going on. Naruto takes down the Rancor that was holding Orihime hostage, as this gives her time to heal both Naruto and Ichigo back to their full strength. Within the human world, the rest of the captains appeared in the town to defeat Aizen. Yamamoto himself knew that they needed Ichigo and Naruto if they truly wanted to defeat this threat. During the battle, the Visor group decides to help out as well. Shinji tells them to mobilize, but Hiyori sits there angrily. I thought you said Naruto would be here. I don't sense him at all. This is not the time for that. Yeah, I guess. But if he doesn't come, I'm gonna kill you and him. Back in Hueco Mundo, Naruto and Ichigo jumped into the battle against Espada Zero. Ichigo tells Naruto to stay back for a moment and let him handle it since his strength has returned, and Naruto complies. He grabs Rukia out of the way and jumps back to somewhere safe. She then decides to ask him what that spiritual pressure was that she felt not too long ago. Naruto then explains that the first time was his own while he was in his Bonkai form, but the second time was Ichigo using the true power as a hollow. They look back at the fight to see Ichigo completely dominating this battle with his mask until it went away and he was caught by his opponent. Before Naruto jumped back in, Kenpachi and Byakuya cut off the arms of this Espada. Let us handle him now. The rest of the captains then arrived, making a portal back to the human world for the two of them, as they would go through alongside Captain Unohana. As they travel, she explains the conditions for Aizen's Shikai abilities and how they're the only two that can defeat him. Aizen was taken down. Those he had defeated when Ichigo arrived trying to cut him down. Ichigo misses the first strike, but he smirks as Aizen then speaks. Oh, that's right. You're not the only one here. How have you been, Naruto? Aizen turns around shocked to not see Naruto either as he raises his blade to block. He then looks back over at Ichigo, who throws his blade towards him. What a cheap move. That won't work. Aizen dodges, but the blade turns into Naruto, who cuts him across the cheek. Oh, you actually managed to draw blood. An impressive attack. This is when the captains appear and jump in the battle, but they're tricked by Aizen's abilities and defeated. Captain Yamamoto appears as well, as he begins his own fight against Aizen. However, this is when the ace against his flames is revealed, as he has to take on that battle. As Aizen looks down, Ichigo swings his blade, but he looks towards the sky to see Naruto swinging it as well. Aizen manages to stop both their attacks as he begins talking. You both have done so well to walk on the road that I've paved for you. I'm assuming you defeated Ilquaora, right, Naruto? And you, Ichigo, you defeated Grimmjow, if I'm not mistaken. What the hell are you talking about? It's so simple. I've planned everything that has ever happened to the two of you. I expected you to become this strong because I know it wouldn't rival my own power. Naruto and Ichigo both rush in, but each of their attacks can do nothing to Aizen, who continues to talk. Can you tell? Each moment in your life, it felt hard, yet it came natural to you. You developed quickly because the things in front of you were constantly thrown your way. After all, you two. A loud crash then happens before Aizen could finish his sentence. It's revealed to be Ichigo's father. Aizen and Ichigo's father then begins their own battle while Ichigo begins to fight Jin. Naruto decides to jump away and prepare a jutsu while he does have the time. Ichigo was holding his own against his opponent, but was still being pushed back to some degree. He was then sent flying and landed right next to his father, who was fighting as well. Aizen began to further his power until Urahara arrived, shooting him through the chest. Ichigo was then caught off guard, but Naruto blocked the attack for him. Sorry I'm a little late, but I had to make sure that this was ready. I couldn't mess up on this jutsu. What are you talking about? Aizen was now surrounded by Urahara, Yoriichi, and Isshin. If you truly think the three of you can defeat me, you're mistaken. A mysterious voice then calls out, maybe not 3, but 4 should do it. A kunai then lands next to the foot of Urahara, and Minato appears. Hey there, it's been a while, Aizen. Minato Namikaze. How are you here? Isn't it obvious? I was revived just for this battle, by my son. Aizen's eyes then widen as he looks over at Gin, who's being killed by Naruto and Ichigo. He's pretty impressive, isn't he? He reminds me of myself when I was younger. The fight continued, and even this seasoned group wasn't enough to stop Aizen at his current power. He opens a portal to the real Karakura town and leaves them there. Isshin and Minato get their sons together and open their own portal. Once inside Bonkai, Isshin stops them. This is the perfect opportunity for us to increase their power, don't you think, Minato? Minato nods and turns to his son as he begins to explain. As of now, you only have half of the 9 tails within your body. I have the other hollowified half. For you to fight equally against Aizen, or maybe even above, you'll need its full strength. After it's sealed inside of Naruto, he falls unconscious. Ichigo sees this and asks what happened, but Minato explains that Naruto has to find a way to control the power before it consumes him. This is when Naruto awakens within the domain of the 9 tails. He pulls out his blade, gripping it tight as he stares down the beast in front of him. In Karakura town, Aizen confronted Ichigo's friends. As he was about to continue towards them, he sees Ichigo and Naruto there. He sees that Isshin was passed out and that Minato wasn't there. Ichigo then speaks up. Aizen, let's fight somewhere else. You shouldn't ask me that without having the power to. Aizen is then cut off by Ichigo, grabbing his face and taking him far away from the town. As he's then thrown to the ground, he stands back up quickly. I wasn't asking you. I was telling you, Aizen. Naruto makes it there as well, using the flying Raijin seal that was placed on Ichigo. You two seem to be weaker than before, as I can't sense your spiritual energy. That's to be expected, as I've gained a higher power since the last time that we've battled. Naruto looks at Ichigo as they both give off a slight smirk. Aizen appears next to them and swings his blade. Both of them dodge easily as the mountain behind them is cut in half. Not bad, but that won't be enough, you two. Naruto then enters his visor transformation, but this time it was different. It was more developed. The hollowification would also spread to his hands and feet as it appeared as claws. Naruto then vanished and swung his claws at Aizen, who just barely blocked, as he then cut across his chest by the blade of Ichigo, who now stood behind him. As soon as he took his eyes off Naruto for just a second, one of the tails then pierced his arm before another shot a Sero Blast, sending him flying. While he flew through the air, Ichigo appeared again, cutting him with the Getsuga Tensho. Aizen then tries to put, them in a black coffin, but Naruto breaks through it with brute force alone. Ichigo then cuts his chest open, causing blood to come out this time. Aizen fully transforms and begins to outspeed both Naruto and Ichigo, hitting them both with powerful attacks. After he grabs them by the throat and slams them to the ground, he then holds them up into the sky. Naruto's hollow mask will be broken, but he's seen to be smiling. Ichigo then speaks for them. "If this is all you got, it won't be enough to kill either of us." Naruto and Ichigo jump back, causing Aizen to release his grip, as Naruto then enters Bonkai, Kuroi Kitsune, while Ichigo releases all of his power as well. It's as if these two were the sides of the same coin. Ichigo's long black hair and dark aura complemented the bright white hair and aura of Naruto. "Hey Ichigo, let's finally take this guy down. You got it." Aizen was angered by the fact that both of them now seemed stronger than him. Ichigo would then prepare the final Getsuga Tensho, and Naruto uses his judgment flames that now appear white. As he throws his sword at Aizen, who didn't have time to react, it lands in his chest. As both of them then launch their attacks, Aizen is hit directly. Ichigo's Soul Reaper powers then begin to fade away, as then Urahara appears to help finally seal Aizen away, as the battle was now over.